Linux Leo says, I said it before, but it really is smart to ask for a stable currency and not British money, monopoly money.
Oh, dollars, yes.
Yeah.
Our Patreon. Kuldeep goes to rub a little bit of dirt onto his hands. I mean, the dew probably isn't as severe as it is in some parts of India, but can be an issue for spinners. Hetmeyer sweating under the lights as Kuldeep tosses this up deliciously, trying to tempt Hetmeyer into seeing visions of this sailing into the sea. He does swipe the bat pretty hard at it, but he comes off the bottom part of the bat down to long on. They come through for the single, just 4 runs, I think, off that over. After 13 overs, the West Indies 59 for 1. The required run rate over 6 and over.
Way into the Bay of Bengal. Parabadshah.
That will be across India. That will be a very big hit.
That's a hell of a hit.
Where is
Indian
it?
Ocean. It's on the eastern side.
Yeah. Really
Oh, sorry, no, the Bay of... Oh, no, the Bay of Bengal is further north of
Not on the map I looked at.
Of Chennai.
Not on the map I looked at. I'll double check that. Parabadshah was saying the UAE have won the ODI versus Scotland by 7 wickets with just over 6 overs to spare. It always looked comfortable for them.
That is a stonking.
Linux Leah says, I listened to the podcast that started it all. This is back to Freddie Flintoff. And I don't think Freddie really believes that. Messi Jazz says, I do agree that Freddie's main aim in life seems to be to have a good laugh. Probably not a bad survival mechanism these days. Go along with your there, Messers.
We have a change of bowler.
Here we go. From the under pavilion end, right arm underground. Here he comes.
Are we struggling with him, Jace?
No, we're struggling with me working out where India is in the alphabet.
Oh, what's...
But it's this guy.
Thank God his mom and dad, they made him all-rounder.
In he comes, Kedar. Not as low as usual on that occasion, just a little bit of bend of the knee, but it's well wide of off stump, and Hetmeyer can throw his hands through it and powers it away past backward point for 4.
You're struggling there, Jace.
Yeah, wide long hop from Kedar Jadhav. A very, very friendly start indeed.
Now, by the way, Knuckle...
Yes. Oh, sorry, no, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, thank you.
You're absolutely right.
If you want to know the geography of India, mate, ask me. If you ever need any geographical Indian help, I'm your man.
No, you're absolutely right. Just off the coach of the Bay of Bengal. As Kedar Jadhav was a little bit shorter, a little bit straighter, and again punched into the offside by Shimmer and Hetmeyer, this time further in front of square. Shreyas Iyer can field on the cover boundary. Come through for a single.
Is it time for the jam and going underground yet?
Almost.
That should be his jingle. That really should be his jingle.
It would be good, wouldn't it? Chris the Choir says Scotland comprehensively beaten by UAE, for whom Basil Hamid scored 63 not out. Only other Basils I can think of in the past 60 years are Basil Butcher and Basil D'Oliveira. Any more international Basils?
Well, there's one who he didn't play international cricket, but he did play for Hampshire. What's his name? Basil Akhtar, I think. Tossed up from Kedar Jadhav, and there's a stutter and a scurry from Hope and Hetmeyer. It was a push from Hetmeyer into the offside. They almost stopped and had a conference mid-wicket. Did Hope and Hetmeyer. We eventually come through for the single, and Virat Kohli, who was lurking there at short mid-wicket, dived away to his right full length and got the throw in quickly, but too far away from the stumps for Rishabh Pant to do anything about it. But Hope and Hetmeyer turned what could have been a very simple single into a real panic, and then Virat Kohli sinks to his knees like a dying centurion.
I guess Basil Brush was never tall enough to play international cricket, was he?
Kedar Jadhav on that occasion does really bend the back knee, but that's too wide, and at Kedar Jadhav's pace, it's really easy for Shimmer and Hetmeyer to put back to ball, open the face, and power it away through point. Probably should have been stopped at backward point, but it's 4 runs. This has been really poor from Kedar Jadhav. His usual modus operandi is to bowl very slow and very straight. So far, he's bowled very full and very wide. It should have been stopped at backward point, in truth.
Genero says, we're now living in the age of the filled-in, highlighted and micro-bladed brow. Hairy eyebrows are king.
Tossed up. Tossed up again very wide of Hetmeyer's off stump, and he drives out to Shreyas Iyer on the point boundary. Already 11 off this over.
Do you think this is a plan, perhaps, to Hetmeyer?
To try and get him to drag it into the leg side from outside off stump?
Yeah.
So far, it's not working.
No, they might have to change that plan rather rapidly. Might have to bowl off his knees, as usual.
And straighter, much, much straighter. Over the wicket he is to Shea Hope. That is straighter, but it's turned into the leg side. Virat Kohli, absolutely lightning quick in the mid-wicket region. Gets the throw away very quickly. No chance of a single taken. But the damage had been done. 11 runs off Kedar Jadhav's first over. So India's sort of combination fifth bowler so far is not doing the business. India struggling for consistency now. Westindies 70 for 1 after 14.
Yes, indeed. Not sure what I did there. We have a number of folks with us joining us left, right and centre on Cricket Tracker, which is fantastic news. Shivam Sharma says West Indies, so that's a prediction there. Disagreeing with Sandeep Singh Alu, who says India will win. MD Saif al-Islam says hi.
Hi.
Ajaz, oops, I've lost it there. Ajaz Jan Pekshani.
First ball of the 15th over. Hetmeyer wasn't going to wait too long before trying to take on Kuldeep Yadav. That was tossed up, it was in the slot, and that's launched over the stands, or rather over the field into the stands at long on for 6. Glorious strike from Shimron Hetmeyer. It was tossed up wide of the off stump. It just didn't quite dip enough, though it did turn away, and Hetmeyer got the middle of that Surridge's bat onto it, and that went miles.
That was right in the slot.
It was, wasn't it? Jitan Chandar has a very good perspective, actually. Says, pitches like these provide a better contest between bat and ball than the usual belters. Fair point, I think.
I mean, you need a bit of variety, I think. I wouldn't want every pitch to be like this, because it is pretty slow. But yeah, a little bit of variety in pitches around the world is no bad thing. It's a little bit flatter from Kuldeep, and a good bit of fielding by, who is that at backward point? That is KL Rahul doing very well at backward point. Means that there is no run. Sorry, Basil Akram was the Hampshire player I was thinking of. He played 6 first-class games and 1 List A game.
He plays for...
He's played for a number of academy sides.
The club side he plays for is Salisbury, which my friend scores for.
A little bit of turn from Kuldeep, but a little bit too slow and a little bit too short and a little bit too wide. And it's an easy punch out to Shivam Dubey on the cover boundary for Shimron Hetmeyer. I was actually at his 1 List A game. I covered it for Deep Extra Cover, playing for Hampshire against Yorkshire in a dead rubber Royal London One Day Cup game in 2014.
Now, did we mention Basil Thumpy?
Basil Thumpy, yes, of course, plays for... I don't think he's played for India, but he's played quite a lot in the IPL for the Sunrisers Hyderabad. A little bit of turn from Kuldeep, but again, Hope able to play him off the back foot and just nudges this into the leg side. They come through for a single. I don't think it'll be too long before Jadeja comes into the attack.
You did say in the green room that you thought he might be very effective on this wicket.
He could do. If he manages to get turn at pace, then he could be very, very dangerous indeed. Kuldeep in. Oh, a googly, which Hetmeyer did not read at all. Tried to play it off the pitch. A quicker googly, which hurries. Hetmeyer turns sharply and he eventually sort of gloves it away from him and rolls between his feet. Lovely delivery from Kuldeep.
It was saved by the second line of defence there, basically. His back pad and his...
glove and box and other glove. All sorts going on.
It was a bit high. It probably would have gone over the top if he hadn't hit it.
I mean, there was a chance of a drag on, which is probably the more... I don't think it was ever a chance of LEW. That's the orthodox delivery. A little bit flatter, Kuldeep, a little bit flat in this over. Perhaps unsurprisingly, having been smashed back over long on for 6. 9 runs off the over, though. A good one for the West Indies, who are starting to pick up the pace a little bit now. 5.26 on over they are going, and the required run rate is now under 6. West Indies 79 for 1 after 15 overs, need 209 of the remaining 35.
Chris the Choir says, I found only 7 tests in 78, 79, but it doesn't say who it is. But you didn't find Basil Thumpy, I don't think, Chris.
He's not played international cricket.
I think are you sure? Maybe it's because he's only played IPL and...
he's certainly played quite a bit in
Our
IPL.
stat covers IPL, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, he's a right-arm seamer.
Indeed. TV umpire says, really wasn't a very good tour for Cricket Scotland in the last few games. 4 games, 1 washed out, 1 win by the skin of their teeth, 2 losses. Particularly their batting faltered. I think Munsey needs to be either opened or to be saved only for T20.
George Munsey is a very powerful player. And that change is happening from the Under Pavilion end. Just the 1 over for Captain Underground. And here comes the sword, the swashbuckler himself. I'll bring you his jingle after his first ball, which is tight to off stump. Hetmeyer walked across to the offside and just nudges this into the leg side. Kuldeep Yadav fields at deep square leg. They come through for a single off.
Ravindra Jadeja.
The ideal for India is that Jadeja and Kuldeep can slow the West Indies down to a crawl and create some pressure. That's tight to off stump, and Hope is forward, pushing into the offside. There is no run. Jadeja back to the end of his mark so quickly. But certainly India won't have any overrate worries.
I was amazed I managed to get the jingle in between balls there.
You sometimes get a whole over in before Jadeja finishes his jingle, or before we finish the Jadeja jingle. This is held back a little bit slow, a little bit of dip, and Jadeja dragging Hope forward. He plays this with no real timing to short extra cover. There is no run. He's in again, wider on the crease. That's turned sharply, a little bit too short though, and Hope can sort of flap it into the leg side. It goes straight of mid-wicket down to Mohammed Shami at long on. Odd fielder to have in a power position, as it were. But yeah, sharp turn from Jadeja.
If he gets that on a length, he'll be unplayable.
Yes, exactly.
Has his best career ODI figures against the West Indies, does Ravi Jadeja.
Champions Trophy, right?
You're right, 2013 at the Oval, I think.
That's turned sharply again from outside off stump. Again, just get that a little bit fuller, because Hetmeyer can play this kind of off the pitch, but 2 square leg it goes. There is no run, just 2 runs off the first 5 balls of Jadeja's over. He finishes up now. Hetmeyer going back in his crease and trying to create some room outside leg stump, but can't beat Shreyas Iyer at point. Just the 2 runs off Jadeja's over. That's more like it as far as India are concerned. West Indies 81 for 1.
Yeah, 2013 against the West Indies in the ICC Trophy. Johnson Charles, Marlon Samuels, Sunil Nareen, Ravi Rampal and Sarwan were his victims that day.
Yeah, Jadeja has had a couple of good Champions Trophies. He had a decent Champions Trophy in 2017 too. Did he?
Dinesh Darewal simply says win. He doesn't say who. So you can't go too far wrong there unless it's a tie.
Yeah, but these two have played a tied one-day international. They played one. They may have played more than one, but they played one when the West Indies were in India last year, a game we covered.
Indeed. M. Faizan Siddiqui says, hi from Pakistan, hello to you.
Hello. Reverse sweep by Shea Hope, and nicely played. It was very slow from Kuldeep, so he had plenty of time, but a can't beat short third man. There is no run. There was another attempted, we're seeing the googly that turned sharply in the last over and had Hetmeyer in all sorts of trouble.
Let me see, who else do we have? Quite a few. India wins, says Sandeep
Kuldeep tosses this up. Hope has no idea which way the ball is about to turn. He's sort of shuffling around and going deep in his crease and blocking this one as it comes back into him into the leg side. There is no run. There is a slip. There is a short third man, a backward point, a cover, a long off, a long on, a mid-wicket and a deep square leg as Kuldeep is in a little googly, I think, a little bit quicker, and Hope rather uncertainly prods this into the offside. There is no run. I think Kuldeep would love to bowl most of his overs at Shea Hope.
Yeah, because Shea Hope doesn't really have an idea off the front foot, and off the back foot he can only work balls for singles.
He doesn't come down the track like Hetmeyer does. Like, he can't even really work the singles around. This is the kind of issue with Shea Hope. And again, he's just sort of blocking hopefully at it. All rather hurried from Shea Hope. Blocked back to the bowler. There is no run. This is really good from Kuldeep Yadav.
Sinoj says Hetmeyer's going to get 65 plus. He's well on the way to that.
5th ball of the over. It's been really good from Kuldeep thus far, and it's going to be another dot ball punched off the back foot by Shea Hope to Virat Kohli, who's lurking there at short mid wicket. 5 dot balls in a row for Kuldeep Yadav in his 5th over. He's in the last ball of his 5th over, the 17th of the innings. A googly, which is a little bit fuller, and Hope can squirt this off the outside part of the bat down to Deepak Chahar at long off. But a good over from Kuldeep, just the 1 run off. It's gone for 27 off his 5, but that's mostly because of that treatment he got off his 4th over. West Indies 82 for 1 after 17, and that's drinks.
TV umpire says these tournaments, like the one in the UAE at the moment, these tournaments always bring up players with interesting names. This time, Jonathan Figgy John.
That's very good.
That's a great name.
Namibia in the World Cup qualifier had 2 absolutely outstanding names, Picky Yafrance and Zhivago Grunewald.
It makes a change from being called Burger, because he always
Yes.
been called Burger before.
Yes, in the 2003 World Cup, I think they had 4 or 5 players called Burger.
Chris the Choir says, agree on both Basil Akram and Basil Thumpy, IPL not international. Yep.
Yes.
The missing Basil had the first name Albadon and opened in his first test in a team with 2 Alvins.
Was it Basil Butcher?
Yes, Basil Butcher played for West Indies.
I think we had him originally, so I don't think he's new. Linux here, the economical bowling is all fine and dandy, but I'd really prefer a glorious, gory carnage with lots of wickets.
Oh, there'll be some of that in this series, I'm sure. Vizag is a pretty fast-scoring wicket. We'll have that. That will be for the second of these one-day internationals. Cuttack, which is the third game, is a little bit more sprint-friendly, kind of somewhere in between Vizag and Chennai in terms of its character. This pitch hasn't been as slow and turn-friendly as some of the ones in the IPL, but obviously this is relatively early in the season. When you get to the IPL, the pitches have had sort of 5 or 6 months of constant use and are kind of falling apart. Plus, this pitch has been relayed since the IPL.
Just imagine having to relay or re-roll, or drench and re-roll pretty much every year.
I mean, they don't do it as often as perhaps you might think. The reason we're talking about such things is because there is a drinks break. West Indies 82 for 1 off 17 overs that require 206 to win from their own 33 overs at 6.24 over. Shea Hope is 25 not out of 53. Shimron Hetmeyer is 41 not out of 43 not out of 41. Distinct difference in the strike rate. Shimron Hetmeyer scoring over twice as quickly as Shea Hope. The man to fall was Sunil Ambris, who was LBW to Deepak Chahar for 9.
That was a real good piece of bowling by Chahar, because he set him up with a whole pile of outswingers, and then the first inswinger pretty much he bowled absolutely nailed in front.
It did. It was a super ball. MD Hassan has put 4 messages up. 3 of them say 100 with a love heart against them, and the other one says 50 with a love heart. I'm not quite sure what that's
For whom?
related to. Well, that's what I'm wondering, yeah.
100 or a 50 for whom?
MD Hassan, tell us a little bit more about your 100s and 50s and what they really mean, because we might be missing something there. I think they'll be happy enough, though, West Indies.
Yeah.
Providing they keep that just the 1 wicket down.
There's
then,
there's some power still in the hut.
Yeah, certainly
yeah.
is. Nicholas Pooran. Roston Chase batted very well in the Afghanistan series. Got Kyron Pollard, Jason Holder can all swing a bat, and Kimo Paul's not too bad with the bat either. We are back with the live action in Chennai. Jadeja's going to bowl the 18th over from the Anna Pavilion end. Slip in place as Jadeja is into Shea Hope, who drives this nicely into the offside. There is a man on the point boundary. It's Shivam Dubey making his one-day international debut. They come through for a single.
Durban Oaks asking why we're commentating on this game.
Because it's on.
Well, because it's on, but then so are other games. But yeah, we conscious that we have a lot of listeners in India, and
there's also a friendly.
So it proves.
There's also quite a friendly. It's much friendlier time zone than some of the other games. That
true
are on.
enough.
This is a short ball which Hetmeyer goes very deep in his crease to and forces off the back foot down to KL Rahul at long, and who I've got to say makes much more sense being at long on than Mohammed Shami does off the spinners.
Now here's a question that I really like. It's the same as Jadeja bowling because he's so quick. Won't have time to get it in. I might wait till the end of the over.
Here comes Jadeja to Shea Hope. Forward off the inside part of the bat it goes. Into the leg side. There is no run.
The question, okay, I'll see if I can get it in very quickly. It's Genro.
Hello.
I'll, wonderful cook and...
Looking at slip as in comes Jadeja, sharp turn, and Jadeja so quick as he manages to run around Shimron Hetmeyer, the non-striker, had field off his own bowling, but that one turned sharply. That's a very dangerous delivery when he gets it to turn at this pace.
Genro's question. Oh, won't have
Jadeja
time.
goes a little wider on the crease. Oh, we're trying to exacerbate that angle with the one turning, but that one goes straight on. He was bowling it 4-turn, natural variations, like Rangana Herath at super speed. This Jadeja, 98 kilometers an hour, and Hope just blocked it into his own foot. There is no run. Really good from Jadeja. A little bit fuller, a little bit flatter, and Hope blocked hardly into the offside. Great stuff from Jadeja, doing exactly what Virat Kohli needed him to do. 4 runs only off his 2 overs so far.
Okay, so here's the question from Jen Rowe, and it's a good one. It would probably... Oh, right. Is it possible to assemble a thoughts and feelings 11? So it would probably have Tim Payne keeping and Shai Hope chancing the runs.
Yes.
Any love?
Yeah, Martin Love.
Martin Love. There's one for you, Jen.
Love. Martin.
Yorkshire.
Hate.
Martin.
Care. Any cares?
Alex Carey.
Alex Carey. Carey is sort of like cuddly Carey. Yeah, he might just about get away with that. There's a Kerr who plays for. Is it Danny Kerr? who
Danny
plays-
Kerr, the scrum
plays
half.
rugby. Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, listeners, come on. What do you got for us?
You need to think of the emotions first, and then sort of retrofit a cricketer to them if you can.
That's what
I
we're looking
think.
for, the emotions 11. So change at the V Potiburaman, and as Kuldeep is out of the attack after 5 overs, and the opening bowler comes back. Very good stuff from him. 4 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 9.
Deepak Chahar, Fleming loves the sky. Deepak Chahar, he bowled a few sky high. Did they come down? He somehow bowled his way to success.
Jadeja's done the business from the Unlock Pavilion end, and the return of the opening bowler, Deepak Chahar, from the other end, capitalise on the strangulation that Jadeja put on Hetmeyer and Hope. There's 4 men up in the offside as Chahar is in round the wicket to Shimron Hetmeyer. Slower delivery and nicely fielded off his own bowling by Deepak Chahar as Hetmeyer blocked it back to him. There is no run.
Cricketing View says calling someone a more upright bowler compared to Kedar Yadav is no description at all.
No, indeed.
Durban Oak is responding actually to the picture that Ravi sent. So it looks like what was produced from a bad vasectomy.
As Chahar in a slower ball into the pitch from very wide of the crease, and Hetmeyer slogs this really with a great whip of the bottom hand into the leg side. Virat Kohli, I think that is deep mid-wicket fields. They come through for a single, but I think that was deliberate to try and get Hetmeyer off strike.
We're all wincing, I think, here at the idea of a bad vasectomy.
Yeah, well, I don't think I've seen the picture. Chris the Choir says Basil Williams, who debuted versus Australia in 1978, opened with Alvin Greenidge. Fun fact.
Alvin Greenidge.
Fun fact. Alvin Greenidge and Dwayne Leverock are brothers-in-law.
Ah,
Their nephew, Kamal
Yes.
Leverock, has played 12 T20s for Bermuda and 4 first-class matches for Cardiff University.
yeah, he played for Bermuda in the World Cup qualifier along with Delray Rawlins of Sussex. So no slip for Deepak Chahar coming back in the middle overs. Slightly aerial from Shea Hope as he pushes this into the offside. Lovely seam position from Deepak Chahar. Another slow ball. He bowled 3 in this over. It lands just short of Virat Kohli diving forward at cover. There is no run. Deepak Chahar has really improved and kind of grown as a bowler in this kind of outing as an international cricketer. In the IPL, he almost exclusively bowled in the power play, but has been used in the middle and at the death by India and has really shown the development of his skills. We've got a short third man, a deep point, a cover, a mid-off, a mid-on, a deep mid-wicket, a regular mid-wicket, and a short fine leg as Chahar is in back of a length, full of pace delivery, I think, and Hope forces this off the back foot. It takes a bobble off a rather corrugated outfield. Kuldeep comes in from long on to field. They come through for a single.
Corrugated outfield. A few people around the world. Sushil Paudel is watching from Nepal.
Hi,
And
regular.
Suraj Kumar Saxena is watching from Patna.
Welcome.
Hello to Toya Girl. Hello to Sabur Khan Marwat.
In comes Chahar from the V Potapiraman end as he's in back of a length, and Hetmeyer plays this very nicely and lovely timing into the leg side, but it's only ever going to be a single with Virat Kohli patrolling the mid-wicket boundary. Hetmeyer moves to 46.
Just looks so elegant that it just no effort at all. It's just a flowing bat that's just put it along the ground all the way to where he wants.
Mohammed Alam says, good live.
Yes.
Sagar Resham Devi Panchal.
Panchal?
It's an L.
Panchal.
Panchal says, nice live, thank you.
Thank you.
Like It Ali says, good commentary.
Thank you.
And Barbara, someone else whose name I'm afraid I can't read, says, Barbara Zamu Beauty.
He's a lovely player to watch, isn't he? Last ball of Chahar's, the first over of his second spell, is driven with no power or timing at all by Shea Hope to Virat Kohli at extra cover. So good stuff from Deepak Chahar. Just the 3 runs off it. West Indies 87 for 1. Now need almost 6.5 and over.
Did I miss something there? Because presumably the Pakistan game was edging its way towards an inexorable draw after 4 days of rain.
It was a draw. Pakistan.
Abu Dhabi got a ton. We're not sure whether.
But what did Barbara Azam do
Babar
something?
Azam got 102.
Ah, there you go. That's why it's a beauty. They knew there had to be a reason.
He did well in Australia too, in a disastrous tour otherwise for Pakistan. Yeah, Abid Ali, the first male cricketer to score hundreds on ODI and Test debut. which is pretty impressive. Jadeja's going to continue from the under pavilion end. Last ball of this particular commentary triad. Hetmeyer onto the back foot, just forces this down to KL Rahul at long on. They come through for a single. Hetmeyer's only able to get singles, and Shea Hope is so ineffective at rotating the strike that it's rather slowing the Westindies down.
It is. It pretty much guarantees there'll be less than 6 and over, which is what the required run rate is.
Unless Hetmeyer hits the first ball for 4 or 6. Jadeja going for the magic ball that pitches on leg and turns to off, and that's rather ruined it from Deepak Chahar, who bowled a really good over at the other end, but it was just turned straight to him at short line leg, and he's let it roll through his legs. They've come through for 2, which keeps Shea Hope on strike, which I guess was kind of the desired effect, but it did take a bobble on this slightly, as I say, slightly rough outfield, but that was poor from Deepak Chahar. An extra 2 runs given away for no reason. Hope stays inside the line of this and punches it down to long on. They come through, long off rather, they come through for a single. So Jadeja, having gone for only 4 runs in his first 2 overs, has now gone for 4 of the first 3 balls of this over, most of which weren't his fault. So half of which weren't his fault.
Renders Hope's ineffectiveness with the bat, particularly against
The spinners.
Spinners become an issue.
I think it already is, isn't it? Sharp turn from Jadeja. Hetmeyer was initially looking to smash that away over the leg side, but then had to adjust his stroke and just play it back to the bowler. There is no run. Jadeja in a short delivery. That's too short, and Hetmeyer goes over the top of the mid-wicket fielder, but lands well short of Shivam Dubey coming in off the mid-wicket boundary. They come through for a single. Hetmeyer was had visions of sending that over the stand, I think.
Chris Acquire says, little known Sri Lankan schoolboy cricketer Sad Gunawardena, South African regional under-19 player Happy Madal Hopi.
Getting very obscure now. I like this.
Happy, Mad and Hope all seem to be on there. Oh no, Lope, not Hope.
Excellent, excellent research there, Chris. Full outside off stump, and Hope strokes this down too long. Off they come through for this single. I think that's 5 runs off that over for 6 runs off the over for Jadeja. We will have a change, and as the Westindies are 93 for 1 after 20 overs. David Brooks going to come on to ball by ball. I'm going to move over to jingles, and Jason's going to move over to tweets.
And I'm going out.
Alternative cricket commentary. Bringing you laughs, bringing you jingles, bringing you joy. We are Gorillas. We need your... Patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket.
Yeah, interesting stuff for in the last few overs. India just starting to put the squeeze on after the sort of combination fifth bowler of Jadhav and Dubey had gone for a few runs. Over to David Brooke.
And that one tucked away by Shea Hope. Down to deep square leg. Hello again, Knuckle.
How you doing? Yeah, this is certainly a partnership of a rather unequal partnership between Hope and Hetmeyer. Hope 29 off 47 balls. Hetmeyer 30 off 48 in fact. Hetmeyer's having to do a lot of work to keep the strike rate up.
Partnership is the operative word.
So far, yeah, but I don't know.
At least it is a partnership.
Yeah.
They've given them a platform, and they got Puran and Pollard, some big strikers to come. Hold on.
Certainly do.
That's short and pulled by Hetmeyer down to deep square leg for a single. And so Weston is 95 for 1. They're going at a rate of, what are we seeing
4.67 runs.
Yeah, so that's up to 6.5 target now.
Yeah, but I mean, Shea Hope's batted 65 balls. He's batted almost 11 overs by himself, and he's scoring at under 3 and over.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you said before, that he just needs to work it around a bit more, and too many blocks and not enough nudges and nurdles.
I mean, even if his career strike rate is under 4.5 and over, if he pushes that to 5 and over and he's averaging 50, he's so much more valuable to his team.
Chahar runs up, and it's another, effectively a backward defensive block from Hope, who remains on 32, this time from 66. And Jason's on my left. Hello, afternoon to you, Jason.
Afternoon. Just checking. We've got some more emotions cricketers. Harry Fear played twice for Somerset in 1934, says Chris Acquire.
Chris Acquire, you are doing sterling research work. Very good indeed for this Emotions 11 we're going with Shea Hope.
Yes, Chahar, that's short, and this is an attacking shot from Hope. he wasn't going to play attacking shot to that one. Who knows? He's pulled it out to long on, but it's only a single there, so he goes up to 33.
Good slow ball again by Deepak Chahar, dug into the wicket, which he didn't really pick.
And Linux here has an alternative view. He says, all these curious names are nice, but Napoleon Einstein is still the undisputed emperor, premier of silly cricket names.
That's pretty good. Indian first-class cricketer. Sachin Baby is pretty good as well.
Washington Sandal.
Washington Sundar.
Thunder.
Yeah, has played international cricket and is developing into a very good cricketer indeed.
It's Chahar to Hetmeyer, and Hetmeyer pulls that through to long on. It's going to jog a single, and that brings up the half century for Shimron Hetmeyer, much appreciated by the West Indies supporters and indeed by quite a few of the crowd here. Hetmeyer, as is his fashion, holds up his bat with from the base of it upwards.
50 runs, you're 50 runs. Well done, well done, well done, well done. 50 runs, you're 50 runs. The job is only just begun.
50 off a runner ball for Hetmeyer, but Hope had to keep that one out from Chahar. And that's the end of that over, and West Indies are 97 for 1.
Some shout-outs to Cricket Tracker. Himanshu Pandey says Hetmeyer is gone, India are on. That's wishful thinking, I think, at the moment.
I think you're saying if Hetmeyer is gone.
Yes, exactly. M. Timi Binadru says Rohit is great. Shahid Ibrahim is missing MS Dhoni. Vinoth Vadakachi, I hope I pronounced that right, says Hope's going to get 100. Ajay Dalana says well done. And Shahid Ibrahim at the end with another thing that's in Gujarat or whatever that I can't understand. And Prasad Rao says the first match is going to go to West Indies.
Okay, so it's tantalisingly poised as Hetmeyer was going through to his fourth ODI 50. He's also got 4 ODI centuries to his name.
It's fifth 50 and 400.
Oh, it's fifth, thank you. I know he's been a few people calling for his blood, but he's done well today. And that next ball is hit down by Hetmeyer for 2 runs down to mid-off. So he goes on to 52. Yeah, the pressure's been mounting on Hetmeyer, as much for his test match performances and disappointing by his standards World Cup. So he could do with these runs, and it's his second decent score.
There's a question of style with Hetmeyer. Kind of because he's so talented, he gets judged by higher standards.
Indeed, I think that's right. That next ball is paid out to square leg and there's no run. But he's repaid the faith of the West Indies selectors. Even the selectors have changed. Roger Harper's now the chairman, but he's kept his faith with Hetmeyer, who pummels that one down to long off the back foot. It's very firmly hit. Shades of Puran about that shot. Of course, we're waiting to see Puran, who's carded to come in next. That's the 100 up for the West Indies. 100 for 1 off 21.3.
Got some more it's got some more emotions for you at the end of this over. Roger Prideaux from Pirate Bradshaw. TV Umpire says after this.
Hope drives correctly down to long off for a single.
Nothing beats Stalin Hoover, Indian cricketer, played for Belagavi Panthers.
That's pretty good. Stalin Hoover is excellent.
Yeah. And Linux Deer says Sachin will always be a baby, no matter how old he is. I find that amusing.
Hetmeyer takes strike and goes for a big one. He's got a lot of aerial underneath that. It's going to go the whole way into the stand, over long on, for a maximum from Shimron Hetmeyer.
Fabulous shot straight back over Jadeja's head.
That's the full long levers release of the bat there. He's used the whole of his lanky frame.
Off the back foot, and he really got underneath. He's gone for it again. This could be another maximum. It looks like he's got hold of it very well. Back into row 15 of the stand, and another straight successive 6 for Hetmeyer.
2 6s in a row. 2 6s in a row. 2 6s in a row.
Yeah, too short from Jadeja, having been hit back over his head, and that was easy for Hetmeyer to rock onto the back foot and launch into those closed stands on the leg side there.
So you're expecting that, Knuckle, with the 2 6s in a row jingle?
No, he's just well poised in advance for that. But that's going to take a bit of recovery from that closed stand.
Yeah, someone scuttling in there with on hands and knees.
Whilst they're doing that, I'm going to have a quick check of the people on Facebook Live. Amir Ali Chang says hello. Zakir Khan says nice live. Sun Eagle says nice. And Iqbal Khan says out. I think that's a wish rather than an actual event.
Yes, sounds like wishful thinking. Hello to you all at Quick Tracker in India, as India defending this 287 for 8. West Indies 113 for 1 after those 2 sixes. Current scoring rate's gone above 5 and over, and the required run rate is 6.25. The last 5 overs have gone for 31. Most of those to Hetmeyer, who's now 65 from 55. He's taking a well-earned drink. Did you enjoy the ting earlier, Knuckle?
Ting, yeah, a lovely, refreshing, grapefruity thing. That was very nice. Thank you very much.
From the Caribbean.
Yeah, lovely. Hetmeyer scored some runs when when the West Indies were last in India. He's got an excellent 100 and a 50 during that series, which was pretty close. That 2-match series, 5-match series was won, I think, 3-1 in the end. But there was a tied game in there, and a game that the West Indies were very close to winning in that series last year. Jadeja's fingers taking a little bit of a battering in that over.
Actually was the ball, because as we just saw it on the TV, instead of going into the stand, you've got that nice little sliver in between the stand and the stand next to it, so it bounced hard on the concrete and played pinball around the back of the stand.
Nicely done. And Hetmeyer is showing his true worth here, 65 from 55.
We do have a change of bowling. Deepak Chahar whipped out of the attack after just a couple of overs, and this man on debut is back.
You wish you do, they treat the bullets roughly. He's got the skills you need, and he's quite buff, really. He's hitting sixes, not making duck eggs. So take this guy on if you feel like getting clubbed.
Shivan Dubé, we're relieved to see that it's Shea Hope he has to bowl to the first ball, which Hope gets off strike, nudges it down to third man. Yeah, these are big runs for Hetmeyer, big runs in the context of this match, big runs in the context of any cricketer's career in India just before an IPL.
Well, indeed, yeah, he was released by the Royal Challengers Bangalore, and the IPL auction is next week.
Well timed, isn't it?
Yeah, very.
You could say that they're valuable runs in more ways than one. Valuable to his team and valuable to his own bank balance, perhaps.
Yeah, perhaps, and for his career and his
personal development.
The perception of him as a West Indies cricketer, a little bit like Rishabh Pant gets some of the same criticism for being a bit hot-headed, but Rishabh Pant played a very nice innings today.
He did indeed. Here's Dubé, and that's almost a caught and bowled opportunity there. Hetmeyer just playing a fraction too early, but it bounced in front of the tall figure of Dubé, so if he couldn't get to it, certainly none of the other bowlers would have done.
Chris Quay's come back with an absolute stonker here for you, Knuckle. He said you wanted research. Here's one. Avinash Aware played for Goa. Aware is Japanese for the bittersweetness of a brief, fading moment of transcendent beauty. Yes, we are not worthy.
That is outstanding. You can make that a haiku based on his name, please. Wonderful stuff.
Dubé, that's mistimed by Hetmeyer. Missed out on that one. Drives to mid-off. There's no run.
Yes, I think
we have a high class of listener here on Guerrilla Cricket.
Just looking at Dubé's record in List A cricket. What have you made of his debut so far, Knuckle?
He didn't really get that much to do with the bat. Obviously, he had to hit out at that time and hit one straight down Jason Holder's throat. But I think he's got work to do if he's going to be a regular fifth bowler.
That's short, and Hetmeyer pulls that one away.
Power.
Gets the gap between long on and deep mid wicket, and that's gone for 4.
That went like a tracer bullet.
Absolutely mullered by Shimron Hetmeyer.
Just airing on his length there. Almost heard the words of Knuckle. He had work to do on his bowling, said Knuckle, and at that moment he dropped it short, Dubé, and it's got appreciation of the bench, captain and coach.
it's the long levers, and when you get that with timing as well, it makes such a difference.
Yeah, it's just too short from Shivam Dubé at his pace. He's not quick enough to be able to bowl half trackers.
Let's see where this one goes. It's a better ball. Squares up Hetmeyer a little, and he gets that away to deep cover. They're going to jog through for a single. So the runs coming aplenty for Hetmeyer. He moves up to 70 from just 59 balls. So Dubé is a batting all-rounder.
Yeah, he is. Would probably
he
be
looked classy for this couple of shots.
He stands very upright. He hits well over the leg side and straight as well. But he's kind of He's in the team because Hardik Pandya is still recovering from back surgery.
And he's been targeted by the West Indies in this innings.
Yes, he has. But they need to find 10 overs between Shivam Dubey and Kedar Jadhav.
And so far they've had 4 overs effectively for 32.
Yeah, you're right. It's a costly, and that's tucked away by Hope. That's better from Hope. He's found the gap there. It's a comfortable single. He'll keep the strike. 23 overs. West Indies 120 for 1.
Prakash Simkada says on Quick Tracker that I wish West Indies would win the first ODI in this series to keep it live for the whole series. Parminder Sidhu says hi. Surajit Chakraborty says I think India will win this match. And hello from Prasad Rao. I think he's actually given us a procession of how he thinks the game will go. It's 160 for 2, 133 for 3, 156 for 4, 165 for 5, 171 for 6, 182 for 7, 188 for 8, 195 for 9, and 202 for 10. So
if you get a third of those correct, I'll be stunned.
Yeah,
and suspicious.
The fix is in, I think.
I mean, very much so.
Allegedly.
That is a very specific set of predictions, and we applaud you for your foolhardy bravery.
And Nadad Ali also comes in and says, good.
And indeed.
Jadeja back into the attack. He's going to bowl to Hope. Hope's on 36 from 71, so that strike rate from Hope hasn't really increased too much. He's on 50, but it's a partnership that counts. And these two put on, and now, let's see, last wicket
109.
fell, 109, thanks, Knuckle. That's tucks away. No run off the first ball from Hope. Hetmar having an opportunity to have a rest at the non-striker's end. Here is Jadeja, who bowls. This time, Hope does manage to turn it away for a single, down to square, just round the corner, from square leg.
Where does his lid go between overs? Is it someone running on and off every over?
I think so, yeah.
So I can't imagine the square leg umpire would be particularly pleased to have it handed to him.
No, and I can't imagine the fielding side would want an extra helmet on the field for potential penalty runs.
Well, 12th man must be getting busy whilst Jadeja's on.
I imagine he's hiding down on the boundary, isn't it, if they're switching between seamers and spinners, because Hetmyer reflexively takes his helmet off when the spinners come on.
Yeah, it's going to be a situation where a non-fielding 12th man probably has more exercise in his innings than some of the fielders.
Certainly, who was the person we barely saw during the first innings? Was
Ambrose?
Yes, it was Ambrose. He was.
Oh yeah,
he was sort of hiding away, not being used at all.
Hidden down at short third man.
Jadeja bowls that one wide of the crease. That's nicely cut away by Hetmyer. He's beaten the fielder at backward point. Is it going to go all the way? It's a rather untimely dive. And who was that out there?
Deepak Chahar. That wasn't a dive. That was a stop.
Well, it was like he just went to ground.
It's a vanity dive.
Yeah, he went to ground. There was no way he was going to stop that.
2 + 2 is the man.
Yeah, he dived a little bit too early, Deepak Chahar, and just stopped.
This is nicely turned away off his legs by Hetmyer. It's going to take a single this time. Yeah, it was a sort of talk about a futile dive. It was one. No chance of stopping.
Do you remember that blockathon that England pulled off in Auckland in 2013, where Monty Panesar had to dive full length into his crease and commando crawl over the line?
Oh yes,
that's kind of what that reminded me of.
Yes, exactly. 126 for 1. Hetmyer on 75 at the non-striker's end. Hope, what's he going to do this time? He blocks, but this time manages to get some direction onto that block, and it just squirts it out.
But he's still only scoring at just over 50 runs, 100 balls. 38 off 74. I mean, he's being held up by Hetmyer, scoring well over a run of ball at the other end.
Well, that's a partnership.
It is,
Jason. That's what a partnership's all about. Look at that score: 127 for 1.
Yeah, it's not how many. Sorry, it's not how, it's how many.
It's as long as one of them's doing it, and that's there's obviously a game plan that Hope is going to take that role, and Hetmyer turns it round the corner. And given West Indies' history of batting collapses, that surely there is something to be said for someone playing that role.
Yes, although he's still got to be scoring quicker if he's going to be playing that role. 4.5 and over for a whole career, and he's now played this is his 70th one-day international. He's 26 years old. Shea Hope. He's not a rookie anymore by any means, and a player of his quality. It's just a question of degrees, and I think some of those batting collapses might be sometimes, and we saw this during the World Cup. I think the game against Bangladesh is a very good example. Just put so much pressure on the guys at the other end that they have to score quickly.
Well, the required rate, we're up to, let's see, 6. It's under 6 now, isn't it? It's just quickly check the stats on that. And as Dubé prepares to come in again, the target run rate 6 and over. And if you've got 9 wickets in hand as you start the last 20, you're going to be in pole position to win this match. So I'm still backing Hope at this stage. Dubé bowls, and that's played away nicely by Hetmeyer, and that's going to go to the boundary just behind square on the offside. Beautiful shot from Hetmeyer.
Well, if you're looking at it in T20 terms, they're probably going to be on about 155, 160 at the 30 over point, requiring another 140.
Yeah, and you'll have, 8 overs between Dubé and Jadeja? Sorry, not in Jadeja, Jadhav.
Well, on current run rate, they'll have 120 off the last 20 to get.
India might have to bring back
India
might have to bring back their strike bowlers earlier than they would want to otherwise, and try and get a wicket before going to the change bowlers.
Tough initiation this for Dubé, who bowls back of a length, and that's played out to extra cover, and there's no run.
Yes, we don't have a wasp or anything like that on the Star Sports' coverage, but Linux Deer says India needs some wickets, methinks. Wendy's are well on track for a victory here.
Yeah, Deepak Chahar getting a little bit of attention to his lower back from the Indian physio there. I wonder if that was caused with that slightly ungainly dive.
It was a futile dive, and now it actually caused some damage. That's played, driven by Hetmeyer. Once the single, he comes fast and gets it in the end.
That would be bad news for India, because he bowled quite well.
Well, and India have got 4.5 bowlers basically, or 4 bowlers and then 2 half bowlers, if that makes any sense, in Jadhav and
given
Shivam Dubé.
All the bowling talent available to the Indian squad, that seems an astonishing thing to go into.
Well, Bhuvi and Bumrah are injured at the moment, so is Hardik Pandya, but they obviously in the squad they've got Yuzvendra Chahal, but you can't. They wanted to go in with some sort of shortish tail.
Dubé, that hits the pads of Hope. They're going to go through for a leg bye there, I think, or did he get a little bit of bat on that? No, it's a leg bye, signalled by umpire George, isn't it? And 134 for 1.
I think it's umpire Menon at this stage.
Is it?
Umpire George at the other end.
Thank you.
That's better from Shivam Dubé, though. Slower and straighter, I think, is definitely the way to go. Take the pace off it a little bit, make Hope and Hetmeyer work for it a little bit.
And Linux Deer says, the monster, Monty Panesar, should be a fielding coach. Cricket would be so much more entertaining.
He's a political pundit these days, Monty Panesar.
The mind boggles Dubé, and that's nicely tucked away by Hetmeyer with a flick of the wrists. Goes down to long on for a single. So Dubé's about to complete his 4th over, and he's gone for 28. So I wonder how many overs they're going to try and get out of Dubé. Not looking to trouble the batsman too much. Kuldeep is warming up.
Yeah, I think he has to come back fairly soon.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Shami came back for a couple of overs too. I mean, Shami's not really a death bowler either. Deepak Chahar certainly is.
What's Hope going to do to this last ball of the over? Tucks it away off his legs. It's just going to settle for a single down to deep square leg. So Hope's going to continue to make his leisurely progress. The most important thing, the partnership, is up to 127 as West Indies go to 136 for 1 at the halfway stage, 25 overs.
This is looking quite comfortable for the West Indies in the last sort of 5 or 6 overs.
Yeah, it'd be a wonderful result for West Indies to go, and if they can get this across the line. And all too often West Indies throw away winning positions. I mean, this is clearly a winning position now, but all too often we've seen West Indies throw it away. So if Shai Hope and Hetmeyer can stay in for longer, another half an hour could be the difference.
Yeah, minimise the work that Pooran and Pollard and Holder and Chase have to do.
And the rest of the talented but potentially brittle batting lineup.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, they do have someone like Roston Chase who can bat around in the middle order. He's quite got a calm head. He's not a hitter like some of the other guys. I mean, Kieran Pollard is also very calm. He's done this a lot, but certainly, Pooran and Pollard and Holder are hitters.
It'd be interesting to see whether Roston Chase replaces Hope when in the batting order and doesn't come in as long as Hope is there. I don't think Pollard or Simmons, the coach, will want to see Hope and Chase
two accumulators at the same time. Well, we do have that change that I was thinking about, and the other opening bowler is back into the attack.
When he gets from the ball, he goes back to the top of his mound, where he stops and he turns and he goes for a strike, and he gets to the crease and he bowls it again.
Mohammed Shami it is, as predicted by Napoli, back into the attack. India's strike bowler, and that gets an inside edge
that's
of his
a
glove
jaffa.
by Shai Hope. Came back off the seam. Shai Hope's managed to get something on that, either a glove or inside edge, and it's gone through for 4 directly behind the wicketkeeper.
Look out, Muhammad Shami. Muhammad Shami. Muhammad Shami.
Hope didn't have a clue.
Inside edge, moral victory for the
Could
bowler.
have gone anywhere,
Pardon?
down onto the stumps.
Well, I seem to remember a couple of those in the Indian innings as well. So it's the same for both sides. Here comes Shami, and he bowls. That's outside the off-stump. Nice shot from Hope, but again he's going to have to settle for a single. There's a man out in the deep, and but Hope begins to time the ball.
He's done his
nicely.
job for this over already.
He has. He got off strike, and he's done it in convincing style. So moves on to 44 in sight of yet another half century in this year of runs for Shai Hope. He's right up there as the top run scorer for West Indies, and also very highly placed in the top aggregate.
Oh, that doesn't look good.
He's 4th, I think, overall
Fourth
in
overall, yeah.
in terms of ODI runs in 2019. Yeah, Deepak Chahar is sitting down beyond the boundary. Manish Pandey is on as a sub-fielder. This is not good news if one of India's main bowlers is unable to continue. Could see Virat Kohli bowling at this rate.
I mean, it was a pretty village piece of cricket that got to sustain that injury. Shami bowls, and that's no run. Hetmeyer pushes that out. It would be irony, extreme irony, if that sort of schoolboy dive, self-inflicted, futile dive, was responsible for an injury that means that he can't get back onto bowl.
Whilst we're waiting for that to pan out, Chris Decor says, whilst there's no cricketer to match this, talking about the emotion, I think this emotion is too good not to share. Giggle in Tagalog, the urge to pinch or squeeze something that is unbearably cute. Obviously, acting on it is quite a different matter.
Shami, that's well pitched up. It's a Yorker, but dug out by Hetmeyer. You're going to go take a quick single down to long off.
Terrible throw. Ow!
Rishabh Pant had to work incredibly hard to try and get to that as Kohli. If it wasn't that bad a throw, he didn't miss the stumps at the non-strikers and by that much, but it hurtled away sort of through third man basically, and Pant had to try and prevent any overthrows, and he only managed to prevent one overthrow. We've now got 2 sub-fielders on. Mayank Agarwal and Manish Pandey are both on. Mayank Agarwal who threw the ball in, and then Pant sort of spilled it a little bit.
Oh, he had it and then he punched it away with his gloves. And I think, to be fair, the man from third man or fine leg was coming up so much that he was just got it anyway.
Shami dropped short. That's a wonderful shot from Hetmeyer. You've come a long way to see a shot like that. The Indian supporters must surely appreciate that. Maximum into the deep square leg boundary.
Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex.
A shot that would have graced any West Indies team of the last 40 years. That on the back foot, swinging right through with a lovely clean follow through, and that's
Right
gone into
off the sweet spot of the bat.
Sweet spot. That was a lovely. That was worth the price of the admission, which of course is free on Guerrilla Cricket. But do give us a donation on Patreon.com. We want to keep our coverage free so that everyone can enjoy it all over the world. There's not enough cricket available free to air, and this is free to air coverage courtesy of Guerrilla Cricket from Chennai, as Mohammed Sami bowls that out to cover a point, and there's no run. Actually from Sydenham in southeast London, but we may as well be in Chennai. It's cooler here.
It certainly is. 149 for one. Shami going for 10-13 in that over. That was a monster hit from Shimron Hetmeyer again into that closed stand over square leg.
I mean, we hear about players, powering the ball over the boundary with their big bats and stuff, but Hetmeyer, diminutive stature, it's all about the follow through, isn't it, with Hetmeyer?
His timing's great. I mean, he's tall-ish. He's not very he's not built, but he's got long levers, as Jason was saying, and his bat speed is superb.
Yeah.
We have a change at the other end, so Jadeja is now changing ends to the V Patabiraman, and Dubey and Jadhav really not showing that they can be trusted at this stage.
This will mean a lot to West Indies if they can get this one across the line. And it's India under pressure at the moment. As you say, Knuckle, there's 2 substitute fielders out there, and now Jadeja's having to come back into the attack. He beats Hope with the outside edge, spins that one off a length, and there's an appeal for a stumping appeal, which umpire's going to go up to the third umpire to have a look at that. I don't think the batsman's in too much trouble. What do you think, Jace?
Well, he's asking for a drink, so I don't think he's got any worries at all.
We did drag the foot not quite out, though, of the crease. He just about managed to keep the foot grounded. Good work from Rishabh Pant, though. I don't think he could have got the bails off much quicker than that.
Yeah, Pant making up for his little spill from that attempted stop in the last over. It wasn't a drop catch in the last over, but he did cause an overthrow, a buzzer, as Bumble would say. So 149 for one, but nice bit of turn from Jadeja, who's very much something of a match winner for India on many occasions. Can he rise to the occasion here and get the vital breakthrough? Because this partnership now worth 138. I was right the first time. This one is tossed up, and Hope gets it through the inner ring, and it's going to down to extra cover. And Hope doing his job goes for a single. That's the 150 up for the West Indies off 26.2 overs. So giving India something to think about here. The odds, I haven't looked at the odds recently on Betway, but it'd be interesting, Knuckle, to see how short West Indies are now and whether India bet tempts you in any way, given West Indies' history of screwing up these run chases.
Put it this way, a team in the West Indies position should win this game.
Yes, but it is West Indies.
Yeah.
In most circumstances.
I speak as a well-declared supporter. Jadeja bowls, and that's played out by Hetmeyer for no run. Given the West Indies' record of messing up these run chases, what odds can we get on India at this stage?
Just their record of not really winning. That they whitewashed Afghanistan.
Back foot goes Hetmeyer. No run there. It's practically fielded by the skipper.
But that's their first bilateral series win in 5 years.
Exactly.
So this is not a team used to winning in one-day international cricket from any position.
So I'm itching, I'm sure you are as well, to have a little bet here. Oh, Hetmeyer's gone down with some cramp. That won't please the West Indies dugout. Let's see if the physio is going to come on to deal with this.
Shall I get through some Cricket Tracker comments whilst I'm doing that?
Hetmeyer's
playing one of the innings of his life, and West Indies is way ahead, says Hemanta K.R. Patti. Salman Khan says yes. Jaya Prakash says West Indies are going to win. Pashtun Khan says play live. I'm sorry, we can't do that. We don't have the rights. And Azad Zazashadkania says good batting.
Yeah, it is very good indeed from Hetmeyer. There will be a little bit of a delay while Shimron Hetmeyer gets some treatment. This, frankly, might just tempt him to start hitting out even more if he can't run.
Yeah, Linux Deer on Twitter says Monty Panesar's a political pundit. What?
Mm-hmm. On the election.
This is part of the mad world that is Great Britain as it stands nowadays.
The West Indies are heavy favourites. A sample odds would be that India currently 11-4, West Indies 7-2 on.
Are you tempted by that 11-4, Knuckle?
I don't bet much on cricket, but I think that's a decent price. I think.
Yeah.
For India in a home one-day international against a team like the West Indies, who don't win very often.
Yeah, as if you were to bastardise take that single, it only takes a wicket.
It only takes a wicket.
Yeah, I mean, what we saw in the India innings,
especially if it's Hetmeyer.
Well, I mean, if you get Hetmeyer and then Pooran very quickly, suddenly all the pressure mounts even further on Shai Hope, who is at the moment just able to just kind of play his game and not worry about scoring runs quickly. But
he's not looking very happy at all.
Hetmeyer having a rueful smile. He's actually face down on the ground, horizontal.
I think someone is stretching his tendons and trying to get rid of the cramp.
It's been a bit of pain now, Hetmeyer, but also having a little
take the pills, take the salt pill,
take the magic spray. I wonder if hopefully for India this is just cramp. For the West Indies this is just cramp. It's not a normal position to be treated for cramp in on that when you're prone.
You normally.
Oh, there we go. Now he's got the pad off and he's on his back and he's having his leg stretched. That seems more like it if it is cramp. He has taken a pill now.
Yeah, it's normally salt and electrolytes to rebalance yourself.
Going to have a little bit of a delay here, and we can reflect on who's to come in the hutch. Nicholas Pooran, another very exciting stroke maker, another left-hander, very strong off the back foot. He's due in next. Roston Chase, well, he's got a strike rate of just 76, so I think he'll probably be held back until Shea Hope is out. And then the skipper, of course, who showed a sign of his form in the last game with a 65.
Yeah, pretty much doomed in the end because India's
Yeah.
got 240. But yeah, he's got his career best T20 international total in that third T20 international at the Wankhede, and has been in good form over the last year or so.
Hetmeyer's back on his feet. He's taking a drink. He's still got his pad to put on.
He's going to be doing that as slowly as possible to
Yeah,
give his
he's-
body enough time to
exactly.
get those electrolytes into it and working.
Reminder that the second one-day international is on Wednesday. That will be another 8 o'clock.
We'll be on air 7:50 a.m.
Thank you,
UK time.
7:50 a.m. That comes from Nakul. How would you like to pronounce that stadium?
Visakhapatnam, or Vizag as it's commonly known.
Vizag, that will suit me. Yeah, whereabouts is that?
That's about halfway up the east coast of India.
Yeah.
Well, basically, we're heading up the east coast. So Chennai is in the southeast, Vizag is about halfway up, and then Cuttack is in the northeast.
How will you be getting there?
How will they be getting there?
Back foot goes.
Train or plane?
Definitely plane.
I'll see you there. Okay.
Definitely plane.
150 for one. The game resumes now with a defensive shot from Hetmeyer. See if he's been restricted at all in his movement. Well, he's played 2 dot balls, which is unusual for him. That's the end of the over. 27 have gone. West Indies on 150 for one.
I think he would have taken a single there if he'd been if he'd had both of his legs working.
Yeah.
But I think that it might be a little bit block or slog, which probably suits India quite well. And I would get Kuldeep Yadav on at the other end now if Hetmeyer's not able to stretch.
The next year says, talking about Montpensier, I mean, he's about as qualified for the job as Boris is for his.
Well, quite.
And there's, of course, Chris Acquire says there's, of course, a very famous footballer with an emotional name, Gerard Piqué. The feeling when you realise he's not only rich and famous, but he's also married to Shakira.
Tennis tournament organiser Gerard Piqué redesigned the Davis Cup.
Which massively advantageous to Great Britain this year.
And Spain. Rafa Nadal was absolutely outstanding for Spain in the Davis Cup this year. The whole thing kind of happened in a week rather than over a year.
I think it was arranged to have 4 rounds in a fortnight, something like that.
Mohamed Shami to continue. There's a few changes to the field, and pressure is on India. But can West Indies get this one over the line? Can they at least get within striking range of that target of 288 to win? They're on 150 for one, so they're over halfway. As Shami bowls to Hope, who it's another dot ball as he plays it straight back to the bowler. Shami does his own fielding, and he's on 45. Shea Hope, he'll take his credit for this partnership of 139.
He will if the West Indies win. It's one of those innings you don't know how good it is until the end of the game.
It's a trot innings.
But
use the
but it's a lot
Trot.
slower than Trot ever was. Trot was quite a bit quicker.
Yeah, Trot's strike rate was surprisingly high.
It was
but
in
he
the
did
80s.
get the same sort of criticism that Hope is getting. Shami bowls, that's well pitched up. Again, it's another dot ball as Hope drives that straight to extra cover. That's probably an example of where Shea Hope does make his supporters frustrated. He could have squirted that in any direction.
There's a lot of what we call net shots. It looks very nice, and you say, oh, that's one if you're playing in an indoor net, but it's gone straight to the fielder.
Yeah. It looks like a glorious shot, but when you've got 9 fielders to help you as a bowler, it's going to go to some of them some of the time.
But the partnership is a runner ball as Shami bowls that short, and Hope pulls out of a big shot, ends up just playing it down to a square leg for a single. It's almost lining up as though he was going to play a big shot. The ball came onto him much slower than anticipated, so he ends up just paddling it round the corner. For single, he moves on to 46. He then practices a much more aggressive version of the same shot.
Yeah, Shai Hope was the absolute ultimate Shai Hope in the series against Afghanistan. Scored 229 runs, was only dismissed once in the series, but was scoring at about 3 and over, or 3.5 and over. And there was finding, on very slow pitches when the totals weren't that big, but this is a very different challenge.
When he's given the strike to Hetmeyer now, he's got 3 balls to face this over. Let's see if his movement is restricted. He drives that pleasantly enough and sets off reasonably quickly for a single, so West Indies fans will breathe sigh of relief on that. He didn't look too discomforted by that, although is there a slight hobble at that
He's
end?
walking a bit gingerly after that quick single.
Yeah,
It was a fairly safe single. I mean, he set off straight away, and the throw was always going to the far end.
Well, you'd have to drag Hetmeyer off the field at this stage, because he's on 91 not out. He'll want that century, and everyone will be willing him on the West Indies bench to achieve that landmark. Karen Pollard looking reasonably relaxed in the dugout. He's sort of
His face doesn't give much away ever.
well,
really
that's
does.
true. Yeah, and he's having a little chat with Simmons and Roll Lewis, the tour manager, and that's stopped short. And Shea Hope plays it stylishly, but again only for a single.
Imagine Hetmeyer is loving all his singles at the moment.
But yeah, he won't want to be running too much. He's only got one ball.
No, he'd be hoping up against hope that Shami bowls something that he can smash for a boundary and not have to scamper down the other end for one, or only probably no chance of making any twos anytime soon.
Well, you don't think he's had the sign from the bench to hit out or get out, which is what would happen in club cricket, wouldn't it? You get the sign. You ever had that when you're batting, Knuckle?
I've never been batting for long enough.
Shami's going to finish his over now. He's bowling over the wicket to Hetmeyer. That's well pitched up. It's almost a Yorker, but it's driven down by Hetmeyer to long on. They jog through for singles. So that's a decent over from Shami at the end of 28. West Indies won 5-4 for 1.
Just the 4 runs off the over, and suddenly the required run rate back up over 6 again.
Did we just see Chahar come back onto the field and Pandey was removed there?
I think so. Rohit Sharma is also back on the field, so I'm not quite sure who Mayank Agarwal is on for. Good spot.
That 11-4, I can now top that. It's just under 3-1 on Betfair, Betway, I should say. Other betting exchanges are available, and so will that tempt anyone out there? What do you think, Crick Tracker? Do you think that India are going to win, or do you think West Indies are going to win? Any optimists out there at Crick Tracker? Let us know in India, where we're being distributed courtesy of Crick Tracker. If you're listening in wherever you are in the world, let us know where you're listening to us from on this Sunday in Chennai.
Talking about Crick Tracker, Mansoor Kazmi, who's with us, he says, who will tell today Babar Azam score? Babar Azam got 100.
He's got another 100.
As did Abid Ali.
Yeah, 100 not out, having done very well in Australia. Obviously, that game petered out to a draw because about half the game was affected by rain. We do have that change. It's spinner for spinner at the V Pathabiraman end.
I thought that Kutik was science fiction until I saw him today. Now that death is my addiction, I've thrown all that Virat junk away.
And some more shout-outs. Azad Kiani says 100, talking about...
Yadav, that one turns away from Hetmeyer. He has to reach for it, but he makes reasonable contact. It's going to get a single there down to deep
That's
cover.
very
boundary.
clever bowling to an injured batsman.
Yeah.
Stretch it, get him, toss it up, get it wide of him, get him stretching forward.
Yeah, and also Chandan Singh is with us, Ahmed Hassan is with us, Halai Jani is with us,
Welcome, everybody. This game bubbling up nicely.
as is Rohit Kumar and Mahesh Samani.
Hello, everyone on Crick Tracker.
It's one of those games where the West Indies might not ever actually be ahead of the rate until they win.
Well, if it needs 6 off the last over, then they'll be happy with that, won't they? And that's scooped away by Hope down to deep mid wicket. He's going to looking like he's going to proceed in singles.
Well, Manish Pandey is still on the field. Hope's shirt is absolutely sodden with sweat. So is Hetmeyer's.
I'm working up a sweat just watching them at the moment. Lights are on here at Sydenham.
I wonder how many sets of gloves they go through in a match like this.
Indeed, yeah.
Gotta give that one some air. It spins away again from Hetmeyer. As you say, it's clever bowling, all this from Yadav.
Yeah, but as long as he gets a bat on it, it's almost guaranteed to be a single.
157.
Okay, he has to run the single, so that's stressing his
Well,
joints.
what they're trying to do is to get Hetmeyer to try and slog one of those over the leg side and get a big top edge or leading edge.
And so far he's resisted because he's yet to get to 100, but once he gets to 100, will he change his plan?
Yadav to Hope, and Hope finds the gap up to long on, where there's an easy single being offered to him. He goes on to 49.
One would hope not.
Yeah.
More Hope puns.
Don't be shy, Jason.
Let us have all the Hope puns, Jace.
No, I
Hope
won't.
for the best.
Lionel Lear says you should make a cringe comedy after this ball.
Yadav. And that again is spins away from Hetmar. He manages to. Is that going to go all
Oh,
the way?
well
No, it's an
fielded.
acrobatic bit of fielding there. Coming number 2. There's only one, I beg your pardon. That is
Manish Pandey,
Manish
subfielder.
Pandey, the sub. And they get 2 to Hetmar. Thanks, Knuckle.
Oh, and now he's the man.
He's holding
This
his
outfield,
elbow.
I think, is quite hard. So we've seen a few players hit the ground very hard.
It was rather nicely placed by Hetmar, wasn't it? He didn't put a lot of force behind that shot, but it travelled.
He waited for it
Yeah.
quite well
I
and placed it
I
behind
think the man
square.
at backward point dived over it a little bit.
Well, he's on 96 now. Is he going to go to a century with a boundary? What an innings this will be for Shimron Hetmar. Koldav Yadav bowls. That's 4 defensive solidly, as though a boundary was the last thing on his mind. As I say, Hetmar will know more than anyone, especially with the critical media in the West Indies, that his place has been on the line. And he's repaying the faith of the selectors today. He's on 96. West Indies 158 for 1.
6 runs off that over, and it was hard work for Hetmar.
Yeah. Leah says they should make something cringe comedy, a really unlikable cricket team, something like the Great Cricketer by way of Bollywood. It's always sunny in Visakhapatnam.
Very nice.
I watched the hell out of that. And Incoming Reindeer says, being awake a few hours here in the eastern US, North Carolina, I think it will be very hard for West Indies to screw this up at this point, so I predict a Windies win. Well, we certainly hope so, but nothing is impossible where West Indies are concerned.
No, you got
Is that a
Hetmar.
pun on hope or genuine wish to see West Indies win, Jason?
I think it would be good for the series and
Yeah,
good for
it
cricket in general.
It would, that's true. And we're looking back on the second ODI in 2018, where there was indeed a tie at 321. Do you remember
again-
that? Hope got 123 not out
Again,
that day.
a slow 100 from Hope and a really good knock from Hetmar.
Yadav blocked by Hope.
Jadeja.
Sorry, Jadeja, and it's blocked by Hope, who remains on
Jadeja switched
49.
ends again. Yes, he has. Jadeja's bowled from both ends in the last 3 overs.
This is usually the point in a game where Jadeja takes a match winning 2 or 3 wickets. He has to affect the outcome of every match he plays in. He's yet to affect this one in a major way. He bowls and Hope, well, he has him on the back foot jumping around there. There's 2 dot balls and Hope remains on
I
49.
suppose as Jadeja switched ends, we should jingle him again.
He bowls again, and that's and that's still no 54. Hope 3 dot balls in a row as he looks for that 1 run, and pressure mounting on Shea Hope here. He needs to get Hetmar on strike. He can't afford a maiden over at this stage of the match. This is the 30th over, and the West Indies still got some work to do. 130 runs off. Another dot ball. We may even see a maiden over. 4 dots in a row.
That's very clever
As
from Jadeja.
Hope is marooned on 49 here.
And I see I hear the hooves of a replacement coming.
Do Bishops have hooves?
7-2 India at this stage. That's looking good value, and that's again hit straight to cover point. So that's 5 dot balls in a row. The maiden over at this stage would be what an achievement from
What do
Jadeja.
you
He's
think?
got Hope pinned there
What
on
do you think?
49.
Last ball of the over, tossed up outside off
And
stump, really
what's
slow.
Hope going to do to this? And
Okay.
he's going to get the run. That's his half century off 92 balls. That's 30 overs. 161 for 1. Tony Bishop's going to come back onto the ball by ball, and I'm going to go to one of the chairs on either side of me.
David's coming onto this here jingle chair. We'll play the 50 jingle for Shine Hope's half century.
50 runs, your 50 runs. Well done, well done, well done, well done. 50 runs, your 50 runs. The job is only just begun.
And I've got, whilst they're all getting arranged beside me, Ravi Nair says, just for Brooker 2, corporally I'm listening in from Bombay, but spiritually I'm listening in from my home state. Political despair. Dakal Pandey will tell you how much it's even worse in India than in the UK, if you can imagine that. Ameliorated by you lot.
Did I just miss a single there? As we eased ourselves into various chairs?
We probably did.
I think we did. Shy Hoop, in fact, missed it. It was a boundary, wasn't it? Because Shy Hoop's got his 50, 52.
Well, he was on 50, Tony.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll take that back.
Off the
I mean,
last ball of the series.
150, so that was 2. And 152 run partnership, 157. What an effort from these two as in wheels, Kuldeep. And it's slashed away into the offside by Shy Hope, who has been sedate, David, hasn't he? In
Well,
his
yeah,
achieving that
I've-
50?
I have been defending his role in this partnership. Cricket's a game of partnerships.
Well, quite right. Let's give him a bit more air. Flicked around the corner. Now, Rishabh Pant was nearly.
Is that going to
getting
make
a
it? Is
ball
that going
on
to make
I
it?
think that-
Oh.
Oh, and he doesn't quite make it. As it made its way down to long leg. They've run 3. They haven't run 4, have they?
No, they've run 3. They could have run 4, but Hope ran the first one
It's
very
given us
slowly,
leg byes as well.
as though it was going to go to the boundary. He didn't show any urgency. Otherwise, I think they could have got 4 there.
Well, I think Hetmyer is very happy that didn't go. Did try to run 4 there because I think he's still suffering a little bit in the groin area
Is it? Oh dear.
or wherever it
I
was.
I thought he was down with cramp. Did I
Yeah,
miss
so
something?
or the calves. Oh.
I'm not so sure it's his groin. If it's cramp, you don't get cramp of the groin, do you? As this one's flicked by Hetmyer away to leg. He's again, as if to emphasise your point, though, Jason. He didn't look comfortable running that, did he?
Well, he made
hobbled
sure
it.
he made sure he got to safely to the far end, and then it slowed down as soon as he had the opportunity to do so.
Well, I mean, there's a lot to be said for momentum, and the Westindies will be desperate for him to try and stay out there because he's providing that momentum and the platform that they built, which really should be from here a victory platform. But if they were to suddenly lose him, either out or retired hurt, it just might create a wobble or two, David, wouldn't it?
Well, there's been plenty of history of that.
As in comes Kuldeep, that one really did jag back.
He's not picking him at all,
he's
Shy
not.
Hope. I
No.
mean, he's playing back defensively because that's the best way to play him, but he's got no little chance of scoring with that strategy, and that's just digging a hole that's even deeper and deeper.
Is definitely not as a watchful Karan Pollard gazes upon the action. That one is driven, beautifully off-driven by Shy Hope. He'll stroll himself a very easy single. He's on 53, 97 for Shimron Hetmyer, but we are concerned about his current state of fitness.
Well, and also I think the run rate would be a slight concern. That they've slightly, since that injury, maybe because of the fitness thing, they've slowed down, and that's going to put the pressure. I just detected a little more nerves on the West Indies bench when we saw them sitting down there.
Well,
They won't
possibly
want to get
because
too
they
far.
can see,
Yeah.
the man who's providing the impetus.
Yeah, it's tense. They look tense.
Now, if they'd both been going nicely, then you probably would be marginally less concerned.
I don't think Shy Hope's been going nicely at any stage of his innings.
No,
He's
he's-
always been a very gritty, very
Certainly struggled
Gutsy.
against Kuldeep, hasn't he? 5.4 the current run.
workmanlike innings with few quality shots.
And just over 6 required. Yes, I agree with you, Jason. You're absolutely right. He's not picked Kuldeep. He's struggled. Ravi Jadeja with that pointy beard of his, who always looks to me like a bit of a pantomime villain. And forward comes Shy Hope, drops the bat on it. Nothing wrong with Hetmyer's running there when he needed to.
Oh, no,
Perhaps he's loosening a bit.
Perhaps the drugs do work.
If drugs do work, they just they don't make it worse. It's 169 for 1. Hetmyer 97. He's on the cusp of what would be a terrific innings. 158 partnership from 163 balls. And a little tweak in the field as the offside field's being reinforced.
And they've got
by
a mid-wicket
India.
in.
Yeah, and a
The bear
mid-wicket
will
in
be
as well.
happy.
Yep. In skips. Jadeja pulls this a little bit short and flicked around the corner by Hetmyer, who's looking to do this in singles, I think, rather than
Yeah, I don't think you want to throw
anything
it away.
too big. He's not going to chuck it away, is he?
No, he's not going to throw it away now.
He's
and,
not going to give any chance of it unless it's absolutely up in the slot to be smashed.
Yeah, I think you're right. 98 for him off 82. No wicket yet for Jadeja. None for 38. Off
Now, I was
just
reading
over
a
7 overs for
website
him.
somewhere called Quickonometrics about how people slow up in the 90s.
Well, the nervous 90s. As Hope lunges forward, and that rather squirtily is a way to cover.
Interestingly, which country is the worst at slowing up in the 90s? The batsman?
England?
No.
West Indies.
West Indies?
No.
India?
Yes.
Oh, Lord. As this one is another single.
If I remember correctly, I think it was India.
So Hetmeyer is back on strike. He's got 2 balls left of this Jadeja over. He is he's a real fiddler with his gloves, isn't he? Just about between every ball, we seem to see him doing and undoing his gloves. So Jadeja is in, flicked around the corner. They might be, I think they'll settle for 1 here, won't they? Yes. Possibly, if it had been later in the game and the 100 was already passed.
Well, I
for him,
I think
he would have gone for 2 there.
Aiming for the next over as well.
Yes, so he's farmed the strike unless Shy Hope does something that would be rather out of character for this innings. Shy Hope has 100, but that's 100 balls faced for his 55. And actually, Hope has slapped this away down to deep cover. And he may have nicked the strike back there with a single, has he?
Yes, he has.
Oh, the devil. But I suppose you've got to take him.
Well, you have, and that's how he's accumulated all his runs, isn't it? It's a long time since the boundary. I haven't been pressed into action on the jingle machine, which is loaded up for exactly that purpose.
Well,
But 3 overs,
you've got a
4 overs
landmark
without a boundary.
You've got a landmark as well. We're on the cusp of your of a requirement there.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Colonel Talani says, I take it you come across the genius that is at Monty Channel. That's the Monty Python Stars.
Yeah, he's becoming a omnipotent
And
social
Genro
media presence.
says, I'm listening to you in Moscow, enjoying a bit of snow and scrubbing the out of my flat.
Okay.
I hope you get the out of your flat.
We hope it, yeah. You don't want in your flat at all.
Nothing worse than having in your flat.
No.
Oh,
absolutely right.
interesting. We're just being shown a side-on view of
So no
Jadeja bowling,
And
where he lands his foot with the back part raised, but is it raised completely over the line and
So they
therefore
call
has
that-
no part behind the line?
So he didn't call it.
A belated no ball.
Well, I don't think they can they? Or did they? Oh, they have.
Yeah,
Yes, they have.
they called it back.
They've called it back as a no ball. Kieran Pollard seems to see the funny side of it all.
So it's a free hit.
Well, it would. I suppose he
Or
would.
Hetmeyer on 99.
So Hetmeyer on
they can't
99
change
has
the
a free
field.
hit.
They changed the field.
Yes, because they ran a single, didn't they?
Yeah. So
Why
it's a
don't they bring all the fielders up?
Well, now that can't happen very often. A free hit when you're on 99. Can you imagine how much he'll be? Well, if he's got a dodgy leg, he probably won't kick himself. But if he misses out on this, he would kick
you
himself.
don't
wouldn't he?
bring the field up to stop the single, which is inevitably going to be pushed, isn't it? He's going to push the single. Why go?
Well,
bring the
surely
ball?
if it's a free hit, go big. And he slices it.
Wow.
And you can be run out, and he has missed out on it. And he's. Well, now he swings.
But he was in 2 minds. He wasn't
He
going to
was,
play
no.
a really big one. That was my point.
No, I mean, to
You
be
have-
honest, you're safer. Sorry, Jay.
You have to say that's good bowling by Jadeja, because he bowled it wide, he bowled it quite full, he bowled it quite fast, therefore to a field of ring-packed offside
they
ring.
had brought all the field up on the offside. which
You're
is fair.
right. However, it's a free hit, so you can't be caught. You can't be bowled LBW. You can, though, be run out, right? So surely, the tactic would have been to just try and leather it over the top, do anything, because you're not going to be out. What he actually played was a classical shot straight to cover, which he couldn't run off.
Well, could
I
he
mean,
play?
surely you would have just swung the bat, wouldn't you?
Well, don't go with Shirley.
Stop. Lord. Oh, he's here all week, sadly. 174 for 1. Stop calling me Shirley. Hope 56 off 101. We do hope that he speeds up at some point.
Was that a pun?
Well, a very bad one. And Shimron Hetmeyer still, as we were just debating on 99, I wonder now if he's going to leather this one out the ground. He swings through it. It goes to the long off boundary. There is a man there, but it will surely. He hasn't taken it.
It's hope.
Oh, Hope.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Where there's hope, there's life.
Well, there is hope. Where there's hope, there's Hetmeyer now.
So now Hetmeyer on strike. Are they going to bring the field up again? They're bringing
They
it
are.
up. The
Yeah, they
mid-wicket
will.
is coming up to save the single.
Mid-wicket.
And they've got short fine-legged
And they've
now.
brought the short extra cover. They've got a backward point, a short
They have. They
third man.
pushed point back.
Would you bring up the long off, Tony? If it was you?
I
bring him
would.
up. I would
Oh,
bring him up.
absolutely
I
would.
think so, yeah.
Encourage him to go over
You
the
keep
top.
one of them back, but you can bring the other one up, surely.
Sure, yeah. They're going to go off this. There's a one run to be had.
Cool deep. Gives this plenty of air. It's flicked. He jogs. It was pushed to mid-on, and that is 3 figures for Shimron Hetmeyer. Well batted him, and he salutes the crowd.
20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 100. Congratulations, sir. You are a centurion.
Yep.
celebrations go, that was pretty restrained, actually.
Yeah, well, I
What
think
happens at the end there? That's how
the job's not done. That's why.
No, he didn't go mad, did he?
Well, no, indeed. Kuldeep gives this some air. Flicked by presumably Hope this time then. Down to long on. They'll take another easy single. They're just ambling. At least they're taking the singles.
I mean, Hetmeyer has that habit when he gets to the century of, raising the bat by the base of the bat. Have you noticed that's the current fashion?
Is that?
Well, that's because so you can get the writing on the back of it read easily.
Oh, you're cynical, Jason.
I am cynical, but
well informed and cynical probably in that instance. But fair enough. He batted beautifully. He gives a salute to the crowd.
jolly
I mean, there
pleased.
are some idiosyncratic sides. There's the sort of the woodworm look.
This one is dropped slightly short. Hetmeyer carves it away to deep cover, and they will take another one of those ambled singles, bring Shy Hope back onto strike.
Where someone shows you the blade, but halfway up, we're grabbing it halfway up the bat, but the right way, right orientation.
Yeah. So we keep seeing close-ups of Phil Simmons. What penny for his thoughts at the moment, David, after this ball? As this one, hurries Shy Hope, who sort of skips back in front of his stumps to one that came back into him. Kuldeep, he's been comparatively expensive, I suppose.
Yeah, Simmons.
But accurate most of the time. He certainly made the batsman think.
I mean, Simmons will be pretty tense, but there's a lot at stake for him on this game.
Yeah, as in comes Kuldeep. Back into the right-hander.
I mean,
Big
what I mean
turner.
is that
Yeah.
this would be a huge victory for Westindies if they're able to pull this off. So if I had a penny for Simmons' thoughts, I'd say he was thinking that this is going to be huge if only we can win this.
Yeah.
It's a big if.
It is a big if. It is a big if.
And whilst they're going to a drinks break, I'll get through some tweets. The next year, and Ravinea are talking about entrepreneurs and what that means, which is basically entrepreneurial activity within an organisation rather than
correct.
David's specialist
Well,
subject.
indeed. How come Vavi's talking about that?
Is that can't be coincidental, seeing as it's your new
Possibly
area
not.
of interest, David?
Wahid Shahzad has joined us on Quick Tracker. Ali Sher Khan says good commentary. Sifamandia Mfana says hello.
Hello.
Have faith. Nakib Khan says, how can I see live? Unfortunately, we don't have the rights for that, so you have to
you have
find
to
some
Make do with
illegal
us.
rights. We don't recommend you. We can't recommend you do that. But if you want to see something live, then that's what we're going to have to do.
Or
Let's
take
keep
out a
listening to us,
subscription to Star Gold.
Yep. And Suresh Jivan says super. Thank you very
Super.
much.
Super duper. Super duper duper. Their timing, I think they're timing this just about right. It's not an easy wicket to score runs on. And,
Again, they're not exactly
doing all right.
rushing through the overs. It's just gone past 3 o'clock in the UK. They've taken 34, 35 overs in just over 2 hours and 15.
plus you get a lot of
They've had-
promotional time. I
They've
think
had
we
some
should call it.
promotional time. They've had some injuries to deal with on field. So
Yeah, I mean the Hetmeyer cramp or groin or whatever it is. I mean that's pretty genuine. I think he's just.
but
it's
it
pretty
seems
steamy there, I
that both sides are. It's the whatever it is, the humidity, the dew. It's quite enervating, and they're not wanting them to run through at 15 overs an hour, which is what the rate should be roughly.
Jolly splendid array of Christmas snacks on that ad from Iceland. Little bits and pieces to pick at, little vol au vents and.
Are you hungry again? Did you ever get your chicken?
I did eat
you did
chicken,
get your chicken in the end.
Did you have to microwave it warm again, or put
I
it in the
left
oven?
instructions with Knuckle to keep it warm, but I think he
Reheated
failed in that.
chicken.
It was lukewarm.
Well, I think he was more interested
in.
in eating his own hot chicken than having
yours
his
ready for
eating.
you? Anyway, back at the crickets, 178 for 1. Shimron Hetmeyer, superb effort, 101 off 86 balls for him. Shy Hope, a rather more solid and sedentary 58, also off just over 100 balls. Hetmeyer certainly smashed and crashed whenever he could.
Yeah, it's a huge innings for Hetmeyer in so many ways. It's huge for the team. It's huge for him personally. He was let go by his IPL franchise. The IPL draft is coming up next week, I believe. So, it's huge innings for him as an individual. He's been under pressure for his place. We've had Mashal sitting in this chair for the last 3 weeks, 2 months, saying that he should go from all formats. But the selectors have stuck with him, and he's repaid them today.
Well done him.
they've invested quite a lot in him. They want to see that investment returned, and this is the first, hopefully, with more instalments of it being returned.
Yep. No, I agree. If you show faith
Well, it's
as
the
a,
fifth
well, as a
century.
selector, you certainly 5th century indeed. You definitely want to see the impact of that, don't you?
Well, you do, yeah, and it's these sort of match-winning innings. If it turns out to be, can he build on that now and stay there, or is he going to think his job is done?
So it's the splendidly bearded Jadeja, the villain from a Victorian melodrama, who will be bowling to the left-handed Hetmeyer, who just works him nicely off his thigh, really, just around the corner. They'll take another easy single.
I do wonder whether Hetmeyer has decided to play with himself until Jadeja's out of the attack, and then attack all the
You
rest.
think so? Possibly. Could be. If he's relying on Hope to open his
I
shoulders,
think
that
he
doesn't
wants
look
some
likely
pace
to
on the
happen.
ball, and I think, no, despite the fact that Jadeja's quick through the air, there's not enough pace on the ball for him.
Well, Hope has crashed this straight to Virat Kohli. They're at cover, and Kohli had dived away to his left.
Decent bit of fielding that from
He
skipper.
is, well, not for the first time today. He's when he's required to do something acrobatic, he's never slow to do it, is Virat Kohli. That one, I hope, goes onto the back foot. He's looking to sort of work it between cover and extra cover, and just not really getting hold of it, is he?
That did
He's
turn quite a
struggling
lot.
with Jadeja.
I'm just wondering how short of him
It
that
did.
was. Not that short.
Not that short. And it was a good effort by Jadeja as he flung himself away. His hair bobbing as he bounced off the adjacent wicket.
I mean, this is normally the point in the match where Jadeja, makes a match-winning contribution of some kind.
It is.
He's
It is,
very
and
dangerous.
he is very capable of that. He's standing with his hands on both hips.
But was that the opportunity, the near opportunity? Didn't quite carry, and will he get another chance?
Bowling towards those three magnificent sort of Moorish pavilion stands. And onto the back foot goes Hope, and just pushes it back to Jadeja. Another dot ball for him.
Would you like to
Just
see?
the single off the over.
Would you like to see more stands, Tony?
I don't know. It's a very interesting looking ground. I think it holds about 50,000, doesn't it? It certainly looks.
I think
architecturally
Knackle
it's
said
interesting.
30-odd thousand, including the disputed empty
Another
stand.
single. Well, yes. Knackle also said it was nowhere near the Bear Bengal, so might be worth going to factchecker.co.uk as this is run down to long leg, and they will take two. So 181 for one.
That was extremely leisurely.
It was very leisurely.
So
Well, the
let's
whole
hope
thing
for
seems
both
leisurely.
the batsmen's sake that they win this match comfortably, because otherwise
The questions will be
I mean,
asked.
the way Michelle Hetmeyer may have an excuse because he's got cramp, but I wonder why Shea Hope, who hasn't got cramp, why he ran first one.
Well,
so
maybe that was
slowly.
what was on the mind of Phil Simmons, who
Well,
must be sort
Shea
of aware
Hope
of
doesn't normally run anything particularly quickly.
No.
that. And that run rate, whilst not overly concerning, is edging upwards,
Yep.
Current run rate is 5.32. The required run rate's nearly up to 7.
Yeah, only three
It
off that
starts
over.
to go over 7.
Yeah, only 3 off that over, and I still haven't used the boundary jingles, even though
Yeah.
the jingle machine is geared up for that sole purpose, almost that sole purpose, and I haven't had to. That's 6 overs, isn't it, Tony? So you've been in that chair.
Oh,
for 5 overs
something
and
like that.
no
And,
boundaries.
well, I've had Calypso collapsos and nothing happening. It's not been your day, to be fair, David. Your chicken was cold. You've missed out on Hetmeyer's ton.
saw it here.
Well, no, you didn't miss out, but you didn't. Well, you weren't commentating.
Oh
it.
no,
yeah,
so
so
that's no,
there was something else I was
concern of
thinking
mine.
that hasn't quite gone right.
Well,
but,
no,
I'm not sure what it was.
I'm having a good day, thanks. Until
Well,
you
I'm
said that.
delighted. Oh, and that's
A change of bowler.
Here comes the boundary.
flicked indeed. There is, and there's a boundary. It's all happening for David now.
It is indeed the
And
opening
there's a-
bowler back.
And there's a change of bowling as well, David.
Oh, right. Who do you reckon this has come on then?
It's the Alan Partridge Deepak Chahal.
Chahal. Chahal, yeah, not Chahal. Chahal.
Excellent. Nice to see him in the attack.
Yeah, I mean, he was off the field for a little while. But
Flung his hands through that, did Hetmeyer, and got the edge. Oh, and that one was a sort of a tennis ball bouncer. And Hetmeyer was almost swung himself off his feet trying
Well-
to pull it to square leg, and just ended up dropping it down on the
That
ground.
was an homage to Chemo Paul in the first innings, I do think.
Yeah.
And
I think so.
Alzari Joseph with their slow ball, tennis ball bouncers that are coming down by the time they get to the batsman.
Chahar has a yellow towel or flannel hanging out over his bum. Don't know if there's any significance in the different colour of towels. And that one again, he's coming around the wicket and he drops it short. So he's been given a warning for 2 bouncers. But what interested me there, I think, David, was the width, because he's trying to stretch. He's just looking for that line that's not giving Hetmeyer really a chance to pull. And yet, at the same time, he's just flirting with wides without quite giving them away.
This is interesting. We keep just getting the scores up, and comparative scores are identical with the loss of
183 and 185. Yeah.
Hetmeyer's not looking long for this world at the moment.
There's this one. Oh, he's lofty. He's pulled this. Has he got enough? Oh, I think that's a drop.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I think that was a drop down there.
That is terrible.
It was pretty bad, I'm afraid. And India, they've waited for so long. It was a shy hope, actually. No, it wasn't. It was Hetmeyer.
Was that Shreyas Iyer up there?
It was. And he's...
and all he had to do is move in 2 yards, so he didn't have to pick it up off his toes.
Chahar has a rueful look on his face, as indeed he might.
Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot.
Suddenly it's all happening. You've got boundaries, drop catches.
Well, I just said that. I thought Hetmeyer was going to get himself... I just said, Tony, that Hetmeyer was going to get himself out. And the very next ball...
You called it.
He played a shot that was only going to get him out, but it's been spilled, and it was a fairly straightforward
actually
catch.
got him a single, didn't it? Oh, now that's beautifully played by Shy Hope. That one he just waits for. Drops the bat on it, and David there, Trigger Brook, just he guided backward a point, but he did it beautifully.
Well, let's hope that from that Hope can start to increase his scoring rate, because Hetmeyer has temporarily come to a bit of a halt.
Well, yeah, he looks like he's getting frustrated
does,
to me,
yeah.
and you couple that with the fact that he's conscious that he's probably carrying a strain of some kind.
He's reached
Plus,
his
I think he might be thinking it's time for someone else to see us home.
Yeah.
But so I might as well do it with big hits. Let's see what he does. And he was dropped on 106 by Shreyas off Chahar. That one is just pushed away into the offside.
Well, it was a
it's end of the over.
Yeah, it was a pretty facile catch. He just had to
come in.
Yeah, come in and take it low down. It was one of those ones where it's coming at a very catchable height. Really, it wasn't.
No, he just.
If he'd have moved a little bit quicker towards it, he would have made it a much easier catch, because he wouldn't have had so far to go down.
He had time to stop and check, and the fact that he stopped and checked made it much closer to the ground than it would have been otherwise.
No, you're absolutely right, Jason. It was in the context of the game as it stands right now. That could prove expensive.
Absolutely vital that one was taken, wasn't it, to break up the partnership?
Yeah. Gobind Ram 3R has got his heartbroken emoji.
Oh, heartbroken?
Yes.
Oh, because
Iftikhar Hussain is with us. Imran Khan says, dropped catch.
In comes Jadeja round the wicket, and forward comes the batsman just to push it away into the offside. No run. Yeah, they're going to be disappointed with that, India. You wait for such a long time. This partnership has been stubborn and as well as aggressive on occasions. This one's pushed along off by Hetmeyer. Get himself another jogged single. Or was that Hope?
Hope.
That was Hope bringing Hetmeyer on to strike.
Indeed. Yes. I mean, to be critical about Hope, you don't see too many partnerships like this for Westindies. It's a very unusual situation.
Well, you've got one guy at one end scoring at double the rate of the guy at the other.
আমরা 20 মিনিট করে ওটা তুলে আসছি হেটমায়ার আজকে তো দিছে
মানে কি হেটমায়ার 113 শাইওটা সেঞ্চুরি করবে দেখো ভারত হারে যাবে আজকে হারে যাবে কমেন্ট্রি অফ হয়ে গেছে না
Well, that's fine. That's a good partnership.
That one is pulled to mid-wicket.
That's a good partnership.
No,
Yeah,
Chase.
that's most of my partnerships with me being the super slow Shy Hope.
Well, no, but
Super slow.
it doesn't matter if there's
But if you
someone
win,
like
it doesn't
Shimon
matter.
Hetmeyer at the other end. That's the point. If they're both playing
Oh,
like
and that one's dropped short, and Hetmeyer's got all of that. It's away into that big empty stand for 6 runs. David went for the all-purpose. There you go. Yep, just dropped short, wasn't it?
Well,
And
he's,
Shy Hope,
every
that
time
was-
the ball's dropped short, he's absolutely murdered the ball
He
through square leg.
fairly mullered that, didn't he? Jadeja skips in again. He's gone for another one. This one's gone higher,
It's gone
but I think he's
further.
got and further. Hetmeyer's lit the blue touch paper here.
2 6s in a row. 2 6s in a row. 2
Ooh,
6s
David.
in a row.
Very good.
that
Have you got
good
one for
socket
3
today?
6s in a row?
Yes, we do.
Oh, is he going to go for it?
We have the number of the beast jingle.
Ah, yeah, 204 for 1. 2 consecutive 6s off this Jadeja over, who's been hard to pick by Hope, but Hetmeyer's having no problem whatsoever.
That was huge.
That
did
was
he hit
enormous.
Did he hit the top?
He did. I think he's cleared it out of the ground, hasn't he? Virat Kohli has now gone to his angry gremlin face from a fairly chirpy, smiley one earlier on today.
Well, a new ball has been presented to the bowler.
That's the 200.
Well, it is. Now, I wonder if the new ball is going to have any impact then. Or did they manage to find it? It's
Sorry,
definitely
a new old ball.
a new old ball, yeah, but nonetheless, you never know what changes of balls can do. This one comes back in to the
Yes, well,
left-handed Hetmeyer.
he was never going to
there's
bowl
no
the
run.
same length again for the third ball, was he? That was
No,
flatter
he
and
wasn't.
fuller and flatter and wider and slightly shorter.
David can relax, worrying about where the 3 or 4
Yeah,
consecutive 6s jingles might be.
Well, I can also relax knowing that the West Indies scored 13 off that over. I mean, that suddenly
Yeah, it's a
I was
big
complaining
over at the right time.
Yeah, I was complaining about lack of boundaries, and now we've seen 3 in quick succession, 4 from Hope, and then 2 6s from Hetmeyer, and the 200 has come up with only 1 wicket down. This is very untypical West Indies
Well,
scoreline.
it sounds like
What price on India now?
You sound like you're just not quite wanting to believe it, David.
Well, what price on
Hopeful,
it?
but not quite wanting to believe it.
Well, no, the West Indies have a habit of screwing these, of losing from these situations.
Yeah.
But to pull off, this will be a huge victory if they can win this today. after-
Oh dear.
And
Should we describe that quickly?
we'll try. I actually missed it. I'm ashamed to admit. You can tell
that
me.
was cut through the gully area, and I don't know who the gully footer was,
It was a misfield, was it?
but it went almost straight through his legs.
Yes, he was looking to drive.
In fact, it did go straight through his
It
legs.
did. It nutmegged.
This is ragged.
That's KL Rahul.
It's poor.
KL Rahul.
This is poor. It's village.
This
Village.
is poor from India. They're looking a little raggedy, I must say. And that dropped catch will not have improved their mood. Neither, of course, will those 2 consecutive 6s for Hetmeyer. As Chahar is in again, full, looking for the Yorker, and Hope is able to drop the bat on it quickly enough.
Did more than drop the bat on it. He didn't quite manage to get enough of it to get past Virat Kohli, but Virat Kohli is absolutely pouncing on anything within his
ticking.
sphere of influence.
He's ticking a little bit, I think, is Virat. So exactly 6 and over the required run rate now, which is pretty much just
Absolutely.
south of that at the moment. They're going
Yeah.
at 5.6 and they need exactly 6. So, so far, so good. Very much so for the West Indies. As this one is, well, I think Shy Hope was looking to cover drive that and actually seemed to get another edge down to third man. So they'll take a single.
You say that, Jace, that Hetmeyer's scoring twice as fast as Hope. I don't think you were saying that as a criticism of Hope, were you? Because the point is,
No.
that is a partnership. Hope could afford to go at the rate he's going because Hetmeyer's going at twice the rate. And between them, that's a great partnership.
Well, 81 needed from 81 balls, which of course is 6 and over effectively, isn't it? There's just another way of saying the same thing. 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. 207 for 1. As we said, that 81 runs needed, 81 balls, 9 wickets in hand. In comes Chahar again. He's looking to spear in that Yorker to Hetmeyer, who's got the measure of him on that and has a good look at the bottom of his bat.
good look at that where he put his foot there. That was very wide of the crease that he bowled it, didn't it?
Yeah, but he's coming. Around the wicket to a left-hander, and well, you're right. He came from wide and speared it in, but Hetmeyer was the equal of it.
Innings is that people did get in, but didn't go on to a big score. You had two guys who got 70 and 60 odd.
Well, no, I think the West Indies bowling was very disciplined. It was accurate. They used the wicket that I don't think is the quickest necessarily, and they mixed it up. But above all, they most of the time made the batsman work, and that's what you got to do.
And I think we were talking before about the influence of the captain just seemed to be quite.
Oh yeah, he didn't let anything slip.
No, and he's on to his bowlers the whole time, and perhaps Mashal mentioned before that Chris Gale criticised Jason Holder publicly for not showing more displeasure when people make mistakes, bowl badly, whereas Pollard doesn't hold back on that, and surely it forces people to raise their game. He does seem like a stronger presence in the field, so he's made a big difference.
He's
and,
quite laid back, isn't he? I think Holder, or he comes across as quite a sort of laid back individual.
Yeah, this will be a huge victory if they get there for Pollard and for Simmons for the new regime. Enormous to be able to go to the backyard.
78 from 78 is now the target, so they're still going at that, keeping it
new
to
bowler,
that 6
yet
and
another
over.
new bowler.
It is. It's Doobie. What can Doobie do?
Would you like to hear a Doobie?
You wish you do, they treat the bowlers roughly. He's got the skills you need, and he's quite buff, really. He's hitting sixes, not making duck eggs. So take this guy on if you feel like getting clubbed.
Well, the first ball was just steered to cover all the way along the ground, so there was no run. 199 this partnership from 200 balls.
That should be into ground, shouldn't it?
Yeah. As that one's driven again. There will be a man down there. Indeed there is. It's Mohammed Shami who's down there at long off.
The bowling attack has been survived and sometimes even plundered. The partnership has persisted.
Partnership jingle, Tony.
David, you're going through your panoply of a smorgasbord of jingle opportunities.
The smorgasbord, like what we saw in the Iceland ad before.
Yeah. 211 for 1. Are you looking forward to your Christmas lunch then now?
200,
is that what it is?
Yeah, 200 partnership. No, I'd be disappointed if it was a smorgasbord for Christmas lunch.
Well, indeed not. Indeed so. Hope 69, Hetmeyer 123, Dubé or Doob or Doobie none for 30 from 4. So he's been a little bit costly.
No, I think that snack selection that we saw before would be more cocktail party-ish. Christmas cocktail party.
You should have got to
rather
that chicken
than
sooner, because
dinner.
there's clearly food is right on your mind, and that one's worked off his legs by Shy Hope just in front of the square leg umpire. They'll take an easy single. And Hetmeyer, well, maybe Hetmeyer's sort of run off whatever was vexing him earlier, because he seems to be. It's almost like he thought after 100 I'm going to give this a real go, and now it seems like he's going, well, okay, I think I'm okay. I'm just going to get back into the groove again.
The pill and the electrolytes have had an effect.
Yeah, could be.
Also, can we also attribute this maybe to the leadership that maybe the batsman, it's been drilled into the batsman not to get themselves out in this situation. And we're seeing batsmen putting a higher price on their wicket. I heard Pollard using those words in an interview.
Right. And it's interesting in the context, actually, of the sort of world cricket. How
Oh,
England
God. Is he bringing out his slogging bat now?
Well, no, I think he played a shot earlier where he had to jab down on a Yorker,
and he's just
from Chahar and
jarred it slightly.
He then spent a lot of time looking at the toe of his bat. And
What
I think
point were you going to make, Tony, about world cricket?
Well, because I think England are doing much the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, certainly this, of course, is a sort of difference. This is one day, whereas England have done it in Test cricket. But putting a higher price on your wicket and avoiding collapses. That's not the first time we've heard that. Oh, this is pulled by fire, bang, crash, wallop. What a shot as he carves his way through this over extra cover over deep mid wicket for 6 runs.
Let's talk about 6. Let's talk about 6. Let's talk about 6. Let's talk about 6.
Oh, he's seen that slower off-cutter ball very early.
দিয়ে দিছে ভারতের কাছে ওয়েস্টইন্ডিজ
Early, and he absolutely tattooed that.
It's fielded up there.
That's a good way to introduce your new bat to the game,
isn't it? Well, the new bat seems
the last 10 overs bat in his hand, but it was sumptuous was Tony's word for it. It was a lovely shot.
It was a glorious free-flowing cover drive off the low full toss.
Yeah, there you go. I think we've all agreed we like it. I think it is. So if he does have a last 10 overs bat, I mean, I genuinely think he had a problem with the previous bat, and he was making that quite clear. Would it be heavier? What would be the reason that he feels that this is the bat for the big hitting? It would have to be weight, wouldn't it? Otherwise,
it would be weight. I would expect it to be slightly lighter generally because it's longer later on in your innings. You've expended more effort. Therefore, you'd want a lighter bat for it to have better bat speed at the point of hitting.
I call for the mongoose.
Well, I've got to be honest. I think we're overthinking this. I think he had a problem with the previous bat because he created the problem when he jabbed down on that Yorker, and he just needed a replacement. I don't think he was thinking, right, I now need my last 10 over special. I think it's just forced upon him by circumstance.
Fair enough. Elixir Azazel says he gives us a very melodic piece of doggerel.
Hold that thought just for this ball by Mohammed Shami. He's coming around the wicket, driven again by Hetmeyer, and again through extra cover, and again for runs.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Looking like he wants to get this done and dusted. Yeah. He says, is he injured? Or is he just slow across the ground? His sign is vital, his hands are cold, and he's on his knees looking for the answer. Apropos of nothing itself.
Well, no, are we talking about Hetmeyer? Because Hetmeyer is stroke making, and I use the word.
I don't know who the person is.
Absolutely right. This is stroke making of the highest quality.
It is indeed. It's not slogging, although there's been a bit of slogging, but this one again, Hetmeyer's. This one he's doesn't quite get hold of as much with the
special bat. Damage on the bottom of that bat as well. He might be needing another one soon.
That just rolls its way to long on, but he will get himself a single.
No, a huge innings from Hetmeyer. If I had my stats handy, I would know whether.
Well, 7 sixes and 11 fours.
Yeah, is he reaching his highest ODI?
I think he must be, surely.
That I can tell you.
Yeah, we're going to look in the books for that. But it's huge.
Right now.
Given the pressure on him, the West Indian press is pretty merciless when someone has a run of low scores. And, people were calling for his head. He shouldn't be in the team. He should be dropped from 1, 2, or 3 of the formats. But what a response. 139 not out.
Yep. In comes Shami again over the wicket to Shai Hope, and Shai Hope steers this down to third man.
And Shai Hope has very quietly and very unobtrusively upped his rate very slightly. He's now down to up to about 60 runs. On
This
the
one,
course.
this one.
He's now on.
Oh, that's the previous drop, isn't it? Yeah.
So he's now scored 70 off about 120 balls.
Well, I was just going to look for Hetmeyer's largest ODI total, 127.
Yeah, so he's past that. And
So he's passed that already.
what a time to to get it. It's all very well to get a century against Ireland, but this is a different proposition. In Chennai, in India's backyard, first of the ODI series, coming after such a disappointing World Cup when Westindies only posted 2 victories.
127 was actually against the UAE in the World Cup qualifier.
Yeah, well, here you go.
So this is a different kettle of runs.
Exactly.
Shami in. Oh, that
could be
pulled
out.
top.
That could
Has
be
he
out.
got enough of it this time? It is taken very comfortably indeed down at deep mid-wicket. Hetmeyer finally, having surpassed his best ODI score, has succumbed, and India finally have that breakthrough.
Well, generous applause from the Indian fans. Good to see they're on their feet. This is one of those innings that you'll be lucky enough to have seen it. Certainly worth going to Chennai and even worth going to Sydenham on a Sunday afternoon to watch an innings like that. 139 off 106
Magnificent
balls.
effort.
Raise the base of your bat. Shimron Hetmeyer gets a little hug from the incoming batsman who looks suspiciously like Nicholas Puran.
I think it will be.
He's very much in the
think it
same.
will be.
He's very much in the same mould actually as Hetmeyer.
Iyer it was, by the way, who took that catch down at.
Yep, that only cost him 33 runs.
Yeah, well, just a glimmer, maybe, just a glimmer for India. Do you think now the West Indies need to show a bit of character and see this through?
Yeah, I think Hetman will be disappointed that he didn't see it through to the end, and I think actually, if we're being ultra critical, probably Kieran Pollard would have preferred him to see it through to the end as well, and not give any chance of any other result.
It would be tough to give the guy a dressing down at
It would.
139.
You're being very defensive of him.
Well,
we've been saying-
139.
EOI and Morgan, I'm sure, would do it.
Well, no, it was
Would he?
entertaining.
Has Morgan? How many times has Morgan scored more than 139?
No, we're talking about that's the captain giving someone a dressing down for something.
I see.
Yeah. As indeed, he did with David Malan, did he not? Even after Malan's big ton. Didn't like him not running.
It's very strange to mention that on international television. The guy's just scored a century.
Yeah. Anyway, Nicholas Puran, as you rightly said,
Would you like a jingle?
is the new. Yes, we'd love one. And his first ball is he drops a bat on. They might have they did take a single.
Would you like the rest of the jingle, Tony?
I think we would. We'd love it.
Oh, I think sorry, Mog, to cut off that. That one in your heavy metal prime there. I haven't got a wall close enough to bang my head against for that jingle.
We're having another look at
The issue with
dismissal
that,
there.
with that wicket
He
is
took very well.
he just tried to fetch it just a little bit too far.
a knowledgeable crowd.
Well, conversely, which stadium would you say this crowd is, thick as pig shit?
Well, I think they're less partisan. Edgbaston is famously a very partisan crowd towards England.
Ah, true, partisan, yes. But there's nothing wrong with a bit of partisanship.
What's the stand at Edgbaston?
The Hollies.
Hollies stand.
The Hollies stand. Well, and the White Rose stand at Headingley. It's taking an age between deliveries here, which does tend to happen when the game gets tight. Can't quite tell who's taking time out of the game here, India or Westindies. I think someone else has gone into the leg side field. No, it was just mid-wicket, where I think it's Kohli having a long chat with his bowler.
Yeah, I don't think you can blame this one on West Indies. This is India taking their time to bowl the next ball.
We're also looking to ratchet up a bit of pressure.
In fact, Kohli is at mid-off. No change to the field. In comes Shami, right arm over the wicket to Shai Hope. That's a poor ball down the leg side. Well stopped by Rishabh Pant, diving to his left. Surely that was a wide. Apparently not. It passed over Shai Hope's head. There is no run.
Well, he did duck underneath it, and it was pretty straight.
I thought it was further down the leg side than that, but apparently not. Good stuff from Mohammad Shami. 3 dot balls. There's only been 2 runs off the last 9 balls. Surely even the West Indies can't screw this up from here.
You think that?
I was advocating a little saver wager before on India at 4-1.
In comes Mohammad Shami, 4th ball of the over to Shai Hope. Short ball pulled by Shai Hope, not really timed. It's gone straight past mid-wicket. It's gone into the gap between mid-wicket and long on. The man out in the mid-wicket fence had no chance of getting around to that. 4 runs for Shai Hope. Crucial boundary. Can see what Shami was trying to do. He was trying to dig it in a little bit and get Hope pulling and mistiming, but Hope timed it pretty well, played it well in front of square, and there is a big gap on the leg side for him to find, and he found it. A little bit of pressure off the West Indies now.
Sushil Bordal says easy win for West Indies.
Should be from here.
Ashu Jadhav though asks the question, whose win?
Outside off stump, flashed by Shai Hope over the offside field. There is a man out on the point boundary or the cover boundary, so they come through for a single. Nicholas Pooran finally about to face his second ball.
Well, signal of intent from Hope. That's the first big shot that he's played in 131 balls.
It is. Yes,
Pretty much, yeah. It's a very odd innings. It's not the sort of innings you associate with modern one-day cricket, is it? Simran Hetmeyer, by contrast, an absolute masterclass, a stunning innings, which got not quite from all 4 sides of the ground, because one of the sides of the ground is completely empty, but the 3 sides of the ground that are populated all stood to applaud what they know is an absolutely monumental innings. I mean, thoroughly entertaining.
Absolutely, but it was a partnership.
It was. As in comes Mohammad Shami, last ball of his 8th over, right arm over the wicket to the left-handed Nicholas Pooran. Good slower ball. I don't think Pooran read that, and he just nudges it around the corner. But 6 runs off the over. West Indies need 50 off the last 9 overs with 8 wickets in hand.
Takes 2 to get a partnership, Knuckle, and you have to say that in the context of the game with Hetmeyer going as well as he was, then you can't be too critical of Shai Hope, because he had Hetmeyer at the other end, and it's the partnership that's got West Indies to this position.
Indeed. 5.5 now the target.
Possibly. I mean, even more credit to Shimron Hetmeyer for not getting weighed down by the weight of expectations of having to score so quickly, because Hope was so struggling for fluency at the other end. I mean,
well, I'll stick by my point.
I cannot praise that innings from Hetmeyer highly enough.
And I'm going to praise Hope's innings. Vishnu Pantal says, for some reason, Sammy, I'm not quite sure why. Azar says 100, I think that was a reference to Hetmeyer's 100. And Suresh Jivan says, super. And Al-Shir Khan. Hello, Al-Shir Khan, just saying hello, a good comedy for some reason. And Samad says Thatipa. And can you have a translation of that?
Don't know what that means.
Could be a typo.
A little bit of turn from Kuldeep Yadav, starting his last over from the Unna Pavilion end. Pooran tries to drive, finds backward point. There is no run.
Our friends on Crick Tracker, we're very happy with the one-word messages.
Yes, indeed. Short and sweet.
That's all they need to be.
Kuldeep Yadav been very good. 9.1 overs, none for 43 on his comeback to the Indian one-day international side. There's Kohli. There's Kohli feeling it slip, I think. Kuldeep tosses this up, and that's turned a mile. It turned so sharply. Rishabh Pant did well to get some gloves on that and sort of parry it out into the offside. Pooran beaten all ends up by a beautiful bit of bowling from Kuldeep Yadav. Lovely flight and dip on that.
Am I dreaming, or has Kuldeep Yadav just put on a little bit of weight in the last year or so?
He's always had slightly chubby cheeks.
No, maybe he has.
As Kuldeep is into Nicholas Pooran, who has no idea what's going on with that. That's turned from middle and off stump to miles outside off stump and bounced Puran shaping outside leg stump, then pokes hopefully with his hands, and Rishabh Pant takes. There is no run. This is delicious from Kuldeep. India wish they had 3 of him.
Yeah, well, he's only got 3 balls left.
He does, yes. If he can just get a wicket here and see out his spell. He's in to Nicholas Puran, who tries to sweep. It is a full toss, but it'll only be a single. Puran was into the sweep so early, he didn't have a chance to adjust her. They take the single down to deep square leg, or long leg, really. Shea Hope back on strike.
Yeah, I mean, now that they've got a new man at the crease, India's best chance is taking wickets, isn't it?
Certainly is. They went on the attack immediately. Shami came back into the attack once they got the wicket, and then Kuldeep came back from the other end. Last throw of the dice. Dubey and Kedar Jadhav have really let India down. The combined 5th bowler, they've just not been able to trust. College has not been able to trust either of them. Kuldeep in beats Hope with another googly. He's beaten Hope with 3 or 4 of those in this second spell of his. An absolute ripper from Kuldeep Yadav. Hope didn't have a clue. Beaten on the outside edge. That's turned from leg stump to outside off stump. Well, middle and leg stump at least. Delicious stuff from Kuldeep Yadav. He's so good to watch when he's on form. Cannot believe he's not got a wicket in this over.
Very appreciative round of applause from his
last ball of Kuldeep's spell. Turns down the leg side. That's a really good take from Rishabh Pant down the leg side. It won't quite be the last ball because it will be a wide. It was a wide indeed. Pant tried to appeal. Put the umpire off from giving the decision, but the umpire was not put off. This will be the last ball of the spell. Huge OBW appeal. That looks very, very close. Kuldeep is calling for the review immediately. Hope genuinely beaten in the flight by that one. It beat the inside edge. This looks very, very close. It's hit him on middle and off stump. Was it turning too much?
We have a review thing somewhere, don't we? But I can't find it.
It's in the folder called Reviews.
Ah. Not in plays. I'm just looking in the wrong place. Yes, here it is.
So it hit him on middle. Oh, that's close. Oh, that's close. Kohli called for the review immediately, barely turned to look at Kohli, but Kohli is the only one authorised to call those reviews, and he did eventually call it. There's no inside edge. Hope is beaten comfortably by that one that turned from outside off stump. It's hit him in front and middle and off. He's well forward. I think this is pretty good.
Yeah. It's certainly close to that inside edge, but as you rightly say, it doesn't register anything on...
Here we go. Rock and roll Tucker. They're going to make the decision. It's hit him in line. It's turning... Too much. Great decision by Sean George at the standing at the Unna Pavilion, and it is turning to much. Sean George makes the signal to say that his decision is correct. Absolutely worth the review, and Kuldeep Yadav is incredibly unlucky there to finish his spell without a wicket. None for 45 off his 10. Had Shea Hope in all sorts, but Hope has somehow survived.
He has indeed. And Leah, good to have you with us still. You say Kuldeep has always had what we call baby speck in German. What do you call baby speck in German?
I mean, speck is a type of ham, as far as I'm aware. I don't think that's a German
Is that
thing.
like sort of baby face?
Yeah. Yeah, he does have a little bit of that. Doesn't look like
puppy
someone.
fat. Maybe it's the equivalent of puppy fat.
Yeah, he doesn't look like someone in his sort of early to mid 20s, does he? India don't have a review remaining, but frankly, I think most teams would have gone up for that in that sense.
Yeah, it was just as you rightly said, it was the amount it turned.
Hi, Vishnu Patil. Hi.
Hello.
And Samikan. Hi. And Suresh Jivan. Another super to you.
Hey, we do have a change. At the Patiburaman and Shami out of the attack. Shami and Chahar have only got 2 overs left each. So Shivam Dubey is going to have to do some more work on ODI debut. 47 off 46 now, slightly over a runner ball. Still should not be a loser. Position really for the West Indies if they had any pretensions to be a decent one-day international team.
I could have put it front or behind.
It's actually a book, David. Expanded in the Works was a book by John Lennon, published in 1965.
How marvellous.
Consisting of nonsensical stories.
How wonderful. The yin to Paul McCartney's yang.
Oh, very much so.
As Dubey's in a full delivery, a little bit of swing, I think. Shea Hope digs this out as it's very full, up to Ravindra Jadeja in the... long on position they come through for a single. This has been, by a distance, Dubey's best over.
And never better illustrated in The Lion It's Getting Better All the Time. Couldn't get much worse.
Yeah, John Lennon got very frustrated with what he called Paul McCartney's grandma music. The likes of Obla Di, Obla Da.
Yeah, tireless bonhomie can be...
But, then John Lennon produces the most happy clappy Christmas song of all time. None for 45, could have had 2 or 3 wickets really, he bowled very well. And from the Anna Pavilion end, it's India's opening bowler.
Leah, thanks for explaining that baby spec remark before, which has translated it for us.
And was it sort of puppy fat kind of?
Absolutely right, baby fat.
A little bit of cut into the right-handed Shea Hope from Deepak Chahar, and it's nudged into the onside. The long on-fielder is so far back that Coley had time to come around from mid-off to field. They come through for a single.
Yeah, Speck is German for bacon, and baby Speck is baby fat.
Oh, Speck is a type of ham, okay.
Brandon has been in touch. I think he speaks for many West Indies fans. Geez, Hetmeyer finally made some runs, and what runs he made.
He's made 5 one-day international hundreds.
And Messi Jez supports your research, Tony. Spaniard in the Works was indeed the title of John Lennon's book.
There we go.
That's put a Spaniard in the Works. I love that.
Well, 1965, so he probably can reuse it now. The whole generation would have no clue it ever existed.
How many holes does it take to fill the Albert Hall? Is that one of his lines?
How many holes in Blackburn, Lancashire?
Blackburn,
Lancashire, is it?
Yeah. You're getting the same song, though, I think.
Oh, no, I think, yeah. Now we know how many holes it takes to fill the Albert Hall.
Yeah.
Thank you.
A little later in the song.
Lennon or McCartney?
Lennon, I think. Wide on the crease is Deepak Chahar, and I think Pooran's missed that on the inside edge, and it thumps off his thigh pad and rolls into the offside. No signal from umpire Sean George. A little bit of inside edge. Pooran's not looked fluent at all. Unusual for him, such a clean ball striker. And he picks up that single, moves to 5. Shea Hope on 81. India in the Indian crowd sensing that there's a game in the offing when perhaps the game should have been dead by this point.
Yeah, certainly nothing against Hetmeyer, who was quite magnificent, but you sense he probably went 2 or 3 overs too early, watching what's ensued since his departure.
In comes Deepak Chahar, bowling from sort of mid-crease over the wicket. Shea Hope pushes to cover. There is no run. We've, I think the biggest choke I've ever seen was a game that we commentated on, which was Nottinghamshire's choke in the semi-final of T20 Finals Day this year. I think this would be even worse than that.
Was that back in the days of county cricket?
The last ever, the last of the preeminent years of the T20 Blast and Finals
The run
Day.
rate's gone up to 6.5 and over again.
42 needed off 39.
And they did have it, so all of a sudden the runs needed have overtaken the balls available.
Deepak Chahar short a slower ball, and Shea Hope is about a week early on that and just paddles it into the offside. Surely they've got to get 2 there. It rolled to the edge of the circle. They're 3 men back on the leg side. No, just 1.
Against that, on a wicket that's taking some turn, is a little bit on the slow side. India are bowling quite magnificently.
Certainly in the last few overs, they didn't really know what to do with Hetmeyer at certain points, though. 11 fours and 7 huge sixes, including one that went out of the ground off Ravindra Jadeja, nearly left the state.
I think that's the one we're just looking at now.
It bounced off the roof into the swimming pool.
The required rate is 6.5 and over, so if you get to 2 overs needing 13, well, they'll be happy with that.
Yeah,
I think you'd take that as a batting side.
I think you would if you've still got 8 wickets in hand. If for some reason...
Chahar around the wicket, bowling from wide of the crease into Pooran's arc, but he's hit it straight along the ground to Ravindra Jadeja at deep mid-wicket. You're only getting a single to Jadeja's arm, particularly when you hit it that well. Chahar's bowled his slow balls into the pitch pretty well. It's a steady diet of singles for the West Indies.
It is, but that will do. If they can keep getting those, then they'll be happy.
Yeah, need the odd boundary just to calm the nerves, I think, a little bit. You're seeing a breakdown of Shimron Hetmeyer's innings, and Deepak Chahar is the only bowler who he didn't hit over a runner ball, and in some cases quite significantly over a runner ball.
Yeah, he did some damage to Jadeja in particular.
He did, yes. 4 huge sixes, 5 huge sixes. Oh, another slow ball into the pitch, which Hope swings through early on bottom edge past the stumps. Chahar's been unlucky in this spell. He had that catch dropped by Shreyas Iyer, who forgot to move 3 yards forward.
Yeah, that looked a bit wooden, didn't it?
That was a tired shot from Shea Hope. 4 runs off the over. India still in this game somehow. West Indies need 40 off the last 6 overs.
Crockett Yates must be having a conversation with with Leah, who says, I've seen a flying pig in a quite convincing wig. Can't explain that one. Tony, any ideas?
No.
Nope.
Prospects of West Indies not winning?
Unless it's a Lennon quote that we're missing.
Yeah.
Yes, it could be.
Possibly.
I've seen a flying pig in a quite convincing wig.
Oh, with a crackling microphone as well, I'm afraid. So we lost some of that magnificence.
It's the wig.
No,
John Lennon's broken our mic.
Oh dear.
From beyond the grave.
Well, I think on purpose, yeah. To save us.
Yeah, we do have a change at the other end, just the one over from Shivam Dubé, and from the Vipati Biraman end, bowling his penultimate over is this man.
No, it's not you. Not yet. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh, there he is. I've got him. Who is it?
It's the other opening bowler.
Excellent. Thank you for that.
Number
Number
15.
15. Where is he?
You scroll past
just
him, number
looking for
15.
that.
Number 15.
Benny Shivadas has been in touch,
Oh, got him.
and whilst you're looking for that,
Sorry, found it.
Speaking of the Beatles, Shummy in full delivery at full pace. Pouring goes inside out, plays up to mid-off. That's a shy at the stumps. Shivam Dubé misses, but they take single. 39 needed off 35.
Benny Shivadas has been in touch on the quick tracker. I get my microphone sorted. He said the critical time India needs a captain like Dhoni, who was more intelligent. Interesting comment. I know how popular Dhoni is still as a captain.
Particularly here in Chennai. Shummy into Hope, who flicks this in classic Caribbean style off his hips. That's a one bounce four. It's very nearly carried for 6 all the way. At Shummy's pace, a little stray in line will open up a lot of the field, and Shea Hope relieves the pressure with a 4.
If you kids can't listen, and you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary.
Nice shot by Shea Hope. Shummy not taking the pace off the ball. He doesn't bowl at the death very often for India, or really for anyone. And bowling at full pace gave Shea Hope the room he needed to work with. 35 needed off 34.
I wonder how different things might have been with Bumrah playing.
Well, indeed, all Bhuvneshwar Kumar. Yeah. Full delivery outside off stump. That's a lovely shot by Shea Hope. He opens himself out to guide it into the vacant point region, but there is a man at deep point. They just come through for a single.
I mean, this is if Hope gets to a century in a winning course, then he'll quite rightly be seen as one of the men of the match. Go to Hetmeyer.
Absolutely, Hetmeyer is one of the innings of the year.
Yeah, if Hope can see this through, then that's the best answer to anyone criticising his run rate today.
Arguably, if he'd been able to knock a few more singles around, Westindies could have done this way more easily. But yes, I take your point. Near Yorker on leg stump, Pooran clips it out into the leg side. They come through for a single. With the boundary off the over, Westindies don't need to do anything silly here.
No, and he scored more runs than anyone in the Indian side did today.
Certainly true.
Yeah.
Certainly true. Context is everything. And when you win, many sins are forgiven.
Success has many parents. Failure, many orphans.
Failure is an orphan, not has many orphans.
No, it's John Lennon, I was. John Lennon.
It's Mrs. Malaprop.
John Lennon.
John Lennon?
Yeah, he used to live next door to Mrs. Lennon.
As Shummy is in penultimate ball of his penultimate over is clipped by Shea Hope, who takes the single out to KL Rahul on the deep square leg boundary.
If you can keep your head when all around are losing theirs, Tony.
Rudyard Kipling. Now,
Mr. Kipling.
Mr. Who's
Let's make it.
Hendo's a huge fan of his cakes. Probably less so of his poetry or sort of more imperialistic outlook on life.
Right, Mr. Kipling, exceedingly racist poetry. 32 needed off 31. This has been a good over, 8 runs off it thus far. But if Mohammad Shami can pick up a wicket here, then suddenly it makes things very, very interesting again. In he comes, a Yorker, which is clipped nicely by Nicholas Pooran. They might get 2. No, they'll just settle for the 1. And so 9 runs off the 45th over, Westindies 257 for 2.
And this reminds me of Derbyshire's match against Glamorgan last year, Tony.
It does indeed.
Facile run chase.
Oh. Yeah, so which format? T20?
I remember, just thought it would be
just
amazing.
making it up.
Yeah.
Testing my memory of slightly obscure county cricket games.
Well, long may they continue.
Well, absolutely. We
Under
shall be
the
addressing
threat
that on Gorilla Shire, I can assure you.
Of the 100. Yes, Gorilla Shire is the new county cricket podcast from Gorilla Cricket, hosted by Mr. Tony Bishop, conceived and hosted.
Indeed.
Well worth checking out on...
Yeah,
how do you find the podcast, Tony?
You would go to your podcast provider.
Yep.
And,
it's on Podbean, it's on Spotify, it's on Apple Music, it's on Acast, and you can get the podcast before anyone else by becoming a patron at patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket. That also goes for our regular podcast, which I host.
That's called
The Gorilla Cricket Podcast.
So Gorilla Cricket Podcast and Gorilla Shire.
They go out on the same feed. Shivam Dubey is continuing bowling the 46th over. Poor and horribly mistimes this, and he's very lucky that the leg side field is so far back, because that didn't even clear the 30-yard circle.
He's lucky
to get a single.
He's lucky that every single fielder on the leg side is on the boundary. Otherwise, someone could have caught that.
Incredibly badly timed, but the single is taken, and I don't think they'll care that much.
I mean, you make your own luck, but if Kohli's not putting anyone in at mid-wicket, then, without sounding like Bear, and I'm trying to.
Yeah. I mean, I understand where they were coming from. In fact, Shivam Dubey is, of course, replacing Deepak Chahar, so they're trying to string this out for as long as possible, India. That's full outside off stump, and Shea Hope plays a really arthritic-looking push into the offside, and it's fielded by Rohit Sharma. In the covers, they do not manage to take the single. There is no run.
Well, I don't know about you. I'll be breaking out, Tony, a red stripe if West Indies manage to win this.
Well, yeah. Again, they should. But there is the seed of doubt that is there says something about their occasional flakiness in the past, doesn't it?
Yes.
Dubey is basically bowling in one-over spells to change the ends of the main strike bowlers. This is a good slow ball into the pitch from Shivam Dubey, and Hope is through the shot hopelessly early, and it bounces off his arm or something, and dribbles into the third-man region. They come through. I don't know, come off the bat, in fact, maybe off the glove. They come through for a leg bite. Sean George, I think, really wanted to signal the leg bite, but then decided better of it.
Oh, it was definitely bat.
West Indies 259 for 2, 29 needed off 27.
And I'm Shea Hope's biggest fan, but I do hope he doesn't slow down when he gets into the 90s.
He'll barely be moving if he slows down. Short flying leg, backward point, deep point, cover, mid-off. Thrashed through the offside by Poor, and he finally times one, and hasn't he timed it well? Flashes past Rohit Sharma in the covers for 4. And the required run rate is now back under 6 and over, 25 needed off 26. Lovely shot by Poor, and charged at Deepak Chahar and smashed it away with lovely power and timing. Rohit couldn't do anything about that.
Hello, Arsene Webtop.
That's right. I was just going to say, it's a classic cricket shot. It wasn't a slog. He just used his feet and drove it away through the offside.
Better ball from Shivam Dubey, but they will take the single. Good stuff from Pooran. Dropped it in front of him and called Hope through for the single.
And this field is very, very deep set, isn't it? For considering they only need a run of ball, it's everyone they can put back, allowing for the fielding restrictions is back on the fence. And I just wonder whether a few more sort of run savers would it be?
Yeah, I think I understand. I mean,
what restrictions do they have?
I mean, the boundary that was hit was past a man not saving one. It was a short extra cover. They're allowed 5 men out on the boundary. Good slow ball, a good cutter from Shivam Dubey that came in sharply to Shea Hope, and he defends it hurriedly off the inside part of the bat. They come through for the single, but that is 7 runs off the 46th over of Shivam Dubey's the 47th over of the innings of Shivam Dubey's 7th. West Indies need 23 off the last 4 overs.
Yeah, so it's a run of ball, and it was going mid-wicket. Hello. Arsene Webster's been in touch again. Oh, for the first time. So, good going, fellas. Are you talking about us, or are you talking about the Windies?
Or both.
But it could be both. And Ramesh Deval has been in touch with his telephone number. Not quite sure why. And Mohammed Javid has even longer telephone number. Missing something there. Why do people
you advertise to several million people your phone number?
Well,
isn't there an element of risk in? I mean, it's up to you, but. I guess it depends how much you want people to ring it.
Well, wherever you are, you're hearing the finale of this match is going to be right to the end.
Another change of bowling at the Vipati Birama, the West Indies with the field that he's got set. Maybe just bring them up 5 yards.
Yeah, it's ultra cautious, isn't it? And that caution is a risky strategy in this situation.
Well, one huge hit would just make such a difference, wouldn't it? But you need to have A, the ball to hit, and the nerve,
I don't think they,
the nerve to
but I
hit
don't
it.
think they need it. I just think with their field. As deep set as that, just push the singles
keep
and get
picking
them
them.
in ones.
Then
They
they'll
don't
have
need
to
a big
come in,
hit.
won't they?
Yeah.
Eventually.
I mean, there's almost nowhere that you can bowl unless you bowl a Yorker, maybe outside or wide out, outside or stump, that you're not going to give away a single. Excuse the mic's troubles, folks. Patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket and let us help
Buy
us
some
get
more, another mic.
That's outside off stump, and there is a dot ball on that occasion as Hope pushes it straight to Kuldeep Yadav at cover. There is no run. Pooran much more adept than Shea Hope at finding those gaps.
Unless John Lennon from Beyond the Grave is still successfully banjaxing David's attempts to murder his songs.
Try that one.
Leah.
Lord.
It's maybe the worst sound quality we've ever had on Gorilla Cricket. There's a shortish mid-wicket in place, which is good news. Hope backs away outside. Leg stump. He's got that high up. The bat, I'm not sure where that's gone. It's gone straight back over the bowler's head for 6. There's that big hit you were talking about, Tony. 15 needed off 20.
Let's talk about 6. Let's talk about 6.
Here, short ball, slower ball, pulled by Hope straight to Virat Kohli at short mid-wicket. There is no run, but an expensive over from Deepak Chahar. He bowls out 1 for 48 off his 10. 12 runs came off that over. West Indies need just 11 off the last 3 overs.
Well, it's been a fantastic innings by Shea Hope. He's answered his critics there by just upping the ante just when he needed with a straight 6 and then a 4. But he's just been patient, and he's shown that the virtues of sticking around, because it's the wickets in hand in the day that have given West Indies the platform to accelerate. They needed 2, only 6 and over, and looks like they're going to make a fantastic victory here for them, and sets up the series. But Shea Hope, now, yes, he's been criticised for slow scoring, but look at his runs aggregate. He's the 4th leading run scorer in ODI cricket in 2019. And that, for a West Indies side that's been short of runs for too long, makes a huge contribution to the side.
Certainly does. And, well, the proof's in the result, as you say, if he's timed it right. And the fact that he was able to find that big shot, as I said, just at the right moment for them.
Dubé in Flamingo pulled by Nicholas Poor, and they're trying to finish this in a blaze of glory. That's pulled in front of square, deep square leg, can't come round, 4 runs.
And if you kids can't listen, then you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary, crossing a boundary.
The back leg came up there. There was a shades of Kevin Peterson in that stroke from Nicholas Poor, who is a gloriously fluent timer of the ball. When he's at his best.
2.00.
Should be home and hose, shouldn't they?
Should be. 7 needed off 17. Wide outside off stump from Shivan Dubé, driven by Poor and out to the cover sweeper, who is Shreyas Iyer. How costly his drop of Shimron Hetmeyer on 106 was.
This is good.
This is going to give us something, apparently.
A lot of satisfaction to the leadership. Yes, Pooran, to Bard and to Phil Simmons. I mean, in the context of the international game, I say this is going to be a huge victory for the new regime.
Certainly is. India did, of course, lose their last one-day international series at home. That series where Australia came back from 2-0 down to win 3-2. So India not as impregnable at home in one-day cricket as they are in Test cricket. certainly, as Dubé is in, presumably to try and prolong the inevitable. He strays down leg, Hope clips him off his pads, and finds only a single to deep square leg.
Just a
reminder of something.
Yeah, poor old David. Pearls of wisdom being howled into oblivion.
Bark at the moon.
Barking at the moon.
David, he's given up with a mic that doesn't appear to want to talk to him. As that's smashed over the top of mid off by Nicholas Puran. That scores level.
The number of the day. Who could ask for more? The number of the day is 4.
Length from Shivam Dubé, who has not covered himself in glory in his first outing with the ball in a one-day international. The slower balls from him just really haven't worked as consistently as he wanted to. There was a split finger slower ball that was in the slot, and Puran deposited it over the head of the man at mid off. 1 run left for the West Indies to win this first one-day international. In comes Shivam Dubé to Nicholas Puran. Short outside off stump, pulled over the head of mid-wicket. Puran finishes it with back-to-back fours. The West Indies have beaten India at Chennai by 8 wickets with 3 overs and 1 ball to spare. And for all that it looked like it might be tense in the end, that goes down in the book as an absolute walloping for India.
Yeah, they timed it just right. We were getting a little bit twitchy on the West Indies' behalf, weren't they? As they just seemed for a while there to get a bit mired. And they weren't quite sure if they wanted to go big or nudge the singles, and they just seemed a little bit indecisive, particularly after Hetmeyer went. But in the end, both Shai Hope started to accelerate. Puran did exactly what he was really sort of charged to come in and do. And they did it with time to spare, and I think overall, I don't think India bowled badly. They lost a bit of discipline towards the end, but not too much. I would say West Indies will be thrilled to bits, and any of their fans around the world will be. They were lucky, perhaps, in as much as they came up against an India team that had either Jasprit Bumrah or who else?
Bhuvneshwar Kumar,
Kumar, of course,
injured on the eve of the series.
But you can only beat what's in front of you, and they've done it exceptionally well. So very, very well played to them.
Yeah, still had Shami and Chahal and Jadeja